Woody Williams takes to the mound tonight looking to kickstart the Cardinals to a victory in game one of a three-game series against the Mets at Shea. Red-hot Redbird Fernando Vina, hitting .474 in his last 4 games, has been leading the Cardinal offense in this all-important road trip. With the Cubs win today, will the Cards stay even in the race in the Central? Cards and Mets next on Fox Sports Net. Well, besides red-hot Fernando Vina, there's another hot bat in that Redbird lineup. It belongs to Albert Pujols, the 21-year-old rookie, riding a 10-game hit streak, and his power numbers have been outstanding. He'll hit cleanup tonight for Tony La Russa's club. The Redbirds make their only visit to Shea Stadium this season. It's the Cardinals and Mets from Shea tonight on Fox Sports Net. Along with Al Hrabosky, who rejoins us now for Cardinal Baseball, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome back to Shea Stadium. Hopefully we'll get this game started on time. Looks like we will, and the Cardinals certainly need a victory. They are now 7.5 games out. Chicago won today.
Got to keep pace with those Cubbies. They keep on winning these games, and, you know, it's the same old thing. Dan, we've got to do what we've got to do, and you can't worry about the scoreboard. You just win your game, and hopefully it's good enough.
One thing that you can say about these two teams, it has been disappointing to watch both of them. Expectations were high. The Cardinals are still in the race. The same could not be said for the Mets. But in the last 30 to 40 days, these two teams have probably had the best pitching in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they really have, and especially since the All-Star break. These guys are built with pitching. You see the ERA since the break, 2.90 for the Mets, and the Cardinals second best in the National League with 3.10. And you know what? The problem for Valentine is the hitting. They have really, really slumped. They missed some of those bats, and unexplainable. Guys like Alfonso, 100 points below his almost like career average.
Right.
You know, how do you explain some of those things? And of course, they do miss the guys like Hampton.
Absolutely. And Al Leiter, he will be missing the Cardinals, thank goodness. He pitched yesterday. He was outstanding against the Brewers. He went 8 innings in picking up the victory. Tonight, Woody Williams will make the start for St. Louis. And when we come back, we'll talk it over with Fernando Vina. He has been red hot. A look at Fernando's hot streak when we come back. I'm here tonight for game one of this 3-game series against the New York Mets. He just saw a shot of Fernando Vina. What a series he had in Montreal. The leadoff man for St. Louis was 5 for 16, and at one point he had a 4-hit game, and you can even take it further past that Montreal series. He's really starting to turn it on.
His last 4 games, I think 9 hits. So Fernando Vina has been outstanding with the table setting. And, you know, we've got a few guys in this lineup. You know, when you got Vina going, doing what he's doing, and you got Blanco with an 18-game hitting streak, you said Pujols with a 10-game hitting streak. You know, Kerry Robinson had 4 hits last night. We're starting to get some of this timely hitting and starting to score some runs that we desperately need.
Do you see a little change in attitude with this team over the last week or two? You know they've been trying all season long, but the timely hitting certainly makes the attitude change a little bit because you start winning some games.
You know, you're starting to see some guys that understand where they are in the sense of urgency, and understand that, you know, their whole season and their dreams are going to fall upon this next couple of weeks. So I think you're seeing more of a push.
Another big game tonight. The Cubs have already won, and we've got Cardinal Baseball this evening on Fox Sports Net. That man trying to extend a hit streak. Tony La Russa and the Cardinals take on the Mets when we come back. Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Michelob Light, for a smooth, satisfying taste you won't find in an ordinary light beer or Michelob Light. By your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. By Pennzoil, protection under the toughest conditions. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, for tires and complete auto service. All you need is Dobbs. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, one mission, low fares, Southwest Airlines. Tony La Russa and the Cardinals come in with a mark of 58 and 55, 3 games above the 500 mark, 7.5 games out in the NL Central. A look at Tony's lineup tonight, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Vina, talked about him in the open. He's been hot along with Polanco, Robinson, and Pujols. Those 4 have been producing. Edmonds' last 5 games has not, 1 for 17. Then Paquette, Renteria, Marrero, and Woody Williams will make his second start for the Redbirds. On the mound, a right-hander for the Mets, That is Kevin Apier.
Well, the veteran Kevin Apier has a very deceptive motion, so it's tough to pick up. His out pitch is the splitter, and he doesn't beat himself. He walks very few, and he keeps the ball in the ballpark.
Leads the club in strikeouts with 151 on the season. Disappointing mark of 6-10 with an ERA of 3.85 on the year. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. Todd Zeal back in their lineup. He'll play first base. Alfonso has been a disappointment this season. He is at second. Ventura at third. Ray Ordonez at short. In the outfield, Joe McEwing batting leadoff and playing left. Shinjo is in center field. It'll be fun to watch this weekend. And Matt Lawton, recently acquired from the Minnesota Twins, is in right. Behind the plate, perennial all-star Mike Piazza. Well, the Cardinals are making their lone visit of the year to New York. Their first trip to the Big Apple since last October's meeting in the National League Championship Series. Our Chrysler Jeep starters, of course, Kevin Apier making the start for the Mets. This will be start number 24 on the year for him. A mark of 4 games below 500, and there you see the strikeouts that leads the club for the Mets.
Well, Danny,
need a victory.
You're in Gotham.
I love it.
You're on center stage, so let's see what Fernando take advantage of. He's been swinging that hot bat. Had a great series in Montreal. He was 6 for 15. And right now he's got to push the trigger.
We're working on our Fox box at some point in time tonight. We'll have that up and running. Home plate umpire is Mark Barron. Bruce Fremming at first. Jerry Meals at second. Phil Cuzzy is our third base umpire. First pitch, ripped for a base hit by Vigna into right. And that's how we start this series. Boys, he been hot. Our Hyundai Key matchup shows some numbers for the Cardinals since '97 at Shea Stadium. 4-13. Look at the average, and the ERA is near 5. Not good numbers there, Al.
Not at all, but that 2.11 batting average doesn't get it the job done. Really, by today's standards, that 4.44 ERA isn't that drastic, but some reason that good pitching of the Mets traditionally have is stop the Cardinal bats, but hopefully not tonight or in this weekend.
Here is Placido Polanco. Lots of room to the left side. Ordonez playing near second. They pitch out and undoing. We saw the other night a 4-hit night for Vigna. And with each time that he was at first with 4 singles, the Cardinals did not hit and run. And you know, Tony La Russa this year, maybe more so than in any of his years in St. Louis, has been a lot more aggressive, and he wants to be aggressive in this series.
Yeah, sometimes you'll want the guy to get the good jump, and if he doesn't have one, it's hard for you to ask him to run.
Right.
Apier, with all that motion, he's very herky-jerky, a lot of tough motion. He usually is slow to the plate. That's why I think you saw the pitch out on the first pitch. And remember, Piazza is not known for being the best and most accurate thrower.
Not at all. Vigna is running. The pitch is swung on and missed. Thrown out to second. He got him as Vigna came off the bag. And that's what the umpire is saying that to Vigna. He said you came off the bag.
Right. Jerry Meals, the second base umpire, stayed with the call, and that usually means that his forward progress, he was waiting to see if it would carry him off the bag. Breaking ball, the throw, it short hops, but Ordonez applies the tag, and you saw that little, as he comes in here, his momentum carries him forward, and he goes past the bag, and you saw that left leg left the base, and that's when Ordonez tagged him out.
1 ball, 1 strike. Polanco has a hit streak extended here tonight. That's a fair ball down the third base line. He's on his way to second. Way to go, Placido. Another hit, extending that streak to a career high 19. That's the longest this season for the Redbirds, and the last longest streak we saw was owned by Joe McEwing, 25 straight back in '99.
He fights that pitch up. It's up and in. He just fights it off, pulls it right inside the third base bag down into the corner. So traditionally you think about him going to right field, so he took the defense a long time to recover.
Here's Kerry Robinson. Boy, does he make this lineup look a lot different. Third in the order. And if Ordonez is going to play that far up the middle, you know, Kerry will take it the other way.
See the tight tag here. You see he goes by the bag. His left leg came off, and that's when Ordonez applied the tag. And Jerry Meals, second base umpire, said, "You are off the bag, sir, and you are out." Cost the Cardinals a run, but I think we all understand that you're going to be aggressive, but he came off the bag.
1-0 the count. 4 hits last night for Kerry Robinson. Scored 3 runs and stole a base as well. And I mean, he changes the look of this lineup with his speed and the fact that he puts the ball in play, Al.
Well, he told me yesterday, he said he was very relaxed and he really enjoyed having that opportunity. He haven't set a new career high with 4 hits.
You talked about it in the top of the show, our Cardinals Tonight pregame program. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this Cardinal lineup, all over 300 as far as batting average is concerned. But yet the runs have not been coming as much as they'd like. The next to Robinson is high and tight, and it's 3-0. And Pujols on deck, who owns a hit streak of himself at 10 games.
A single, a double, 1 pitch away from a walk, and yet if you're Apier, even if you walk Carey, you sit there and say 1 pitch and I get a double play, I'm out of the inning.
Yep. And he walked Robinson on 4 straight, first and second. 1 out, and here's Pujols.
First baseman number 5, Albert Pujols.
It seemed, Al, that at the beginning of the season, when McGuire went out with the knee injury and you saw Pujols in that 4 spot, he handled it just fine. Even though this is his rookie campaign, and you know Tony La Russa didn't want to see all that pressure put on him in that spot, but he handles it, and he produces.
Yeah, it's whatever the obstacle they put in front of him, he finds a way to go over it, through it, and he doesn't mind batting any spot in the order as long as he's in the lineup.
Just got a piece, fouled it back. 0-1. Take a look at the motion for Kevin Apier, Al.
Well, he's very unorthodox, herky-jerky. You see this, all that arms and legs, and that front arm. Sometimes a hitter has a tendency to follow that. The glove hand instead of the release point from the ball relieving from his right hand.
0-1 pitch. Misses low and in. Pujols, a streak of 10 straight he has hit in. And in those 10 games, hitting .385 with a pair of home runs. He leads the club in home runs and RBIs, 27, 82 respectively, and is 2 points behind Polanco for the top average on the team at .324. What a year he has had. First and second, 1 out. The 1-1 pitch. 2-1.
Well, he adjusted well to that off-speed pitch. Recognized it, saw that where the height was, knew that it was starting out about thigh high, and it was a breaking ball, so it was going to fall below the strike zone, and stayed off it.
Isn't the one thing that probably stood out the most for people like yourself that have played at this level, for such a young player, his patience from day one has been excellent.
And the fact that he doesn't get too high or too low. You know, he just keeps an even keel. This game is pretty easy when you're going right, and everybody will tell you when you're slumping, you know, it can be miserable. But he's weathered his first slump, and he's coming back and swinging the bat very well now.
And the count here with 2 balls and a strike. There's a strike on the outside corner to even the count at 2-2. Pujols has hit safely in 36 of the Cardinals' 37 series so far this year.
Yeah, that's another sign. It's pretty easy to stay consistent when you don't have a prolonged slump.
Around the All-Star break, he started to tail off and then has picked it up again. A shot right at third. That might be 2, and it is. Apier gets out of the inning. Pujols hits into the double play, and some tough luck as Polanco was caught in no man's land. So after a base hit, a caught stealing, a double, a walk, and then the double play off the bat of Pujols. No score after a half inning. Bottom of the first we go here at Shea Stadium. There's a look at Bobby Valentine, manager for the New York Mets. No score after a half inning of play. His lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The regulars are back in there for Valentine today. They weren't yesterday. McEwing to lead it off. He's hitting over 300. Alfonso, Lawton, Piazza, Ventura, Zeal, Shinjo, Ordonez, and Apier. And it's been a tough season for Robin Ventura. On the mound for St. Louis, Woody Williams making his second start in a Redbird uniform.
He needs to control the strike zone. He needs to get ahead of the hitters. He needs to change speeds on both sides of play, go up and down. And he's got to keep pace with the other starters that have been doing an excellent job, and also those Cubbies who won earlier today.
They were winners over San Francisco this afternoon. So as we speak, Redbirds 7.5 games out. Here's Joe McEwing, who had a pair of hits, including a game-winning home run yesterday against the Brewers. He's been in that leadoff spot for the Mets and done a very good job. Hitting .310 on the year. It's our Chrysler Jeep matchup, Woody Williams and Kevin Apier, and this will be Williams' 25th start of the season. Won his first outing in St. Louis. That's a ball to Eli Marrero behind the plate tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You mentioned the Mets were already losers to Woody Williams and the San Diego Padres earlier this year. Of course, he got a lot of offensive support in that game.
Went 7 innings and they won 15-3. And that was here at Shea Stadium. 1-2 the count on Super Joe. Our thanks to him. Nice feature put together by our staff at Fox Sports Net back in St. Louis. Joey Copeland, formerly of our staff at Fox, is here and helping us out and wants to say hello to everybody back home in St. Louis.
Joe McEwing going up there hacking like he always does. All the fidgeting, moving, perpetual motion.
Looks the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hasn't changed a bit.
It hasn't changed a bit. And usually very aggressive and batting .323 his last 32 games.
Williams trying to get him to chase that breaking ball. He held up. 2-2. Houston in the second, leading Florida by the score of 1-0. They come in 5.5 in front of St. Louis. 2-2 pitch. Hit down the right field line. Paquette giving it a chase. That's a fair ball. McEwing on his way to second. Paquette comes up throwing. Not in time. A leadoff double for Joe McEwing. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. A look at the Redbirds defense tonight. Albert Pujols is at first. Vigna at second. Polanco is at third. He has already extended his hit streak tonight to the first. Renteria is at short. He's been playing well as of late. Robinson moves from center to left tonight. Edmonds back in the lineup. He's in center. In right, we just saw Paquette get that ball in quickly. Made a nice play. Made it close on Super Joe at second. And Eli Marrero is behind the plate. Woody Williams on the mound. Here's Alfonso. And Al, you talked about it. What a disappointment he has been this season. Hitting only .225.
Well, just about 100 points below what you expect from him. And another factor is 12 home runs, but how about just 33 RBIs? Now, he has been on the disabled list with a lower back strain, and I'm sure that's come into play, but why all of a sudden has he and Ventura and Zeal and all these guys stopped being productive?
McEwing is at second. That's a ball inside. 1-1. Yesterday, Bobby Valentine did a similar move to that of Tony La Russa, getting a lot of the regulars out of the lineup against Milwaukee. Alfonso didn't play. Piazza didn't play. Zeal didn't play. Ray Ordonez wasn't in the lineup.
They've been having an extreme heat wave up here, and they had a night game, then day game.
That was the main reason,
Yeah.
but it also was to send a message to certain players that have not been performing well. Said the payroll dropped yesterday in that 1 through 9 by about $60 million.
Yeah, the bargain Mets.
Yep.
And I think Al Leiter even called the team that helped him win the ball game the Bomb Squad.
He liked it.
Sure.
1-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Good one by Williams. 2-2. Speaking of Al Leiter, his 4-year contract is up after next season. He is 35, and he talked about when he originally signed that deal that would be the final contract of his career because he wants to be at home and stop traveling and wants to spend time with his family. But he said after the game yesterday that he would like to extend it, and the only place he'll play is right here in New York. The 2-2. Rip foul. Of course, Al Leiter, a huge reason why these Mets got by the Cardinals last year. The two lefties, Leiter and Hampton.
And also Glenn and Rush. Don't forget him. We'll still have Rush, and we'll see him tomorrow, right?
He'll go against Hermanson. You're right. And then Kyle and Bruce Chen. Chen was picked up from the Phillies. It has been good so far for the Mets.
Well, I think that was a very good move on the Mets' part.
Breaking ball. There's a base hit into left. And it's 1-0 New York. McEwing will come around to score. Robinson gets it in. And it's RBI number 34 for Edgardo Alfonso. 1-0 New York.
Well, a hanging breaking ball. He was able to adjust on, and he hit it right up in his eyes, and you don't miss those. He didn't put it out of the ballpark, but he hit it over the infield and with this very wet track. Very hot, humid, and the wet track here, you know, those outfielders are going to be slow to getting to the balls, and guaranteed that Super Joe with his hustle would come across with the first run of the game.
Here is Matt Lawton, formerly of the Minnesota Twins.
He has struggled since he has been traded.
First pitch to him is a ball, 84 miles an hour from Woody Williams.
And Woody's not a real hard thrower, but he has the ability to change speeds, change the plane of his pitches. Pretty good battler. Said he learned that from guys like Stottlemyre, Dave Stewart. And that's all you have to say.
1-0 pitch. He is upstairs, 2-0. Lawton, I think you would agree, Al, will more than likely be their leadoff man next season. And that's where he was penciled in when he was traded away by Minnesota. But he's a free agent after next year. Very good player and was expected to make big money, so Minnesota couldn't keep him. And they picked up a nice pitcher for their stretch run.
Rick Reed went from the Mets to Minnesota in that exchange.
Minnesota's hanging in there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Tied with Cleveland heading into tonight's action.
And, you know, you usually win with pitching.
They've got it.
Yeah, they've concentrated on that, and that's the Achilles heel of Cleveland.
Breaking ball. Strike to Lawton. 2-2.
Woody has really fit in very well, very quickly with his new teammates. Very likable guy and hard worker, and I think people take note of that.
Next pitch, just missed inside. Full count. It's 1-0 Mets on the RBI by Alfonso. Drove in McEwing after the leadoff double. Minnesota and Cleveland with marks of 64 and 50. The American League Central. Runner is going, and the pitch is swung on, lifted into center. Edmonds can't get there. Alfonso will move up. The ball just stops right in the middle of center field. And they thought about bringing Alfonso home and waving him home. That thing just dropped like a high iron into a green.
Well, and like I said, too, with the grass being very, very wet, the outfielder's going to be very tentative and trying to come in on balls because the ball can get by you very quickly. But they're kind of changed direction on him. See how this ball, another pitch, a breaking ball that's up in the zone, not only up, but in the middle of the plate, and that's where Woody can't pitch. You see Alfonso coming around, and bad dude John Stearns held him up. What, you know, That dude was an extra. He was a catcher.
And
so
he's got to watch him, though.
But he wants to get another RBI for Piazza.
Piazza hitting 285, 63 RBIs. Still nobody out. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Our friends at Oral Health, America's National Spit Tobacco Education Program, would like to remind you that smokeless does not mean harmless. First and third, nobody out.
Even Piazza only has 63 RBIs.
That's a shot into deep right center. Paquette going back. Bomb for Piazza. 3-run home run. 4-0 Mets. RBI 64, 65, and 66 for Mike Piazza.
Well, you see how strong he is with that breaking ball right there and lifting it to the opposite field. And look where it was, down and away, trying to keep the ball away from him. Got one right on the black away, and it ends up going over the fence.
Boy, how strong is he to hit that the opposite way on a breaking ball low and away?
Well, he's arguably as strong as they come, and you can see Woody is the 29th home run he's allowed this year, 3rd most in the National League.
Here's Robin Ventura. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ventura, a disappointment for the Mets this year. 239 his average. That's a shot into right, but Paquette is there and puts it away. That's out number 1.
A home run by Piazza was his 297th home run as a catcher. Number 6 on the all-time list was Carlton Fisk. He was the number 1 with 351, followed by Johnny Bench 327, Yogi Berra 306, Lance Parrish 299, and Gary Carter just 1 away now at 298.
Gary Carter will be part of some pregame festivities tomorrow.
Sunday.
Oh, is it going to be Sunday?
Yeah.
As they induct him into the Mets Hall of Fame.
I knew Gary when he was in high school.
Is that right?
Yep. He thought he was special even then. And he was.
Here's Todd Zeile. 1 ball, 1 strike on Zeile, hitting 267 with 6 homers and 45 RBIs.
You know, disappointing season for Todd with his RBIs and only 6 home runs, playing every day.
Their lineup is just not produced whatsoever. 3-1 the count. 4-0 already Mets here in the first.
A lot of these pitches from Woody have been up, and not getting ahead in the count is really hurting.
3-1 pitch. Pop foul and out of play. Full count. We weren't sure if we were going to get this game started on time, but rain has stayed away for the most part in the last hour or so. Brown's crew did a good job of getting this field ready. We've got baseball. The 3-2 is a strikeout. Caught looking is Zeile. First strikeout for Woody Williams.
I've already seen it as home plate umpire. Mark Barron is going to give the pitch outside to the both pitchers. You know, here's the pitch right there by pitch tracks. It's a ball. So you can see why Zeile was starting to go to first base. But he is gave to Apier a couple pitches that were up and away, and he gives one to Woody Williams right here.
Here's Shinjo. There's a shot down the left field line. That's trouble. Robinson diving, can't make the play. Goes to the wall. Shinjo around second. He'll stop right there. 2-out double.
Well, a calculated risk by Kerry Robinson, and I don't think Sinjo could have gotten any more than the double, so why not try to make the miraculous play?
Well, I didn't think he had any chance to even make this close.
You're right. He really closed the gap because it looked like it was going to be in the corner, and that ball's still kind of going away from him, but he felt he was close enough to risk diving, and it's a double anyway, so it really didn't make any difference. With his speed, he got back and recovered quickly enough.
Boy, look at that. What a job as he was sliding. Get up quickly and do that. You know, he's been on the ice before, and he's used to that.
Well, that means he's been knocked down playing hockey, huh?
You said that, not me.
I'm going to
You'd
go
have
tell
to
him.
catch him on skates.
I'm going to tell him that he just proved to us that he's been knocked down to the ice.
He said to me the other day that hockey was his best sport growing up.
He looks pretty good on water slides.
Oof. Ordonez pops it up on the infield, and this should do it. Vigna has it, and the Mets are done here in the first, but they do some damage. Mike Piazza with home run number 27 on the season. A 3-run shot, 4-0 Mets. Well, fans, Tony Gwynn is coming to town. Your final time to see him on Tuesday, August 28th. The Padres come to town. There will be a pregame ceremony in which the Cardinals will present Tony with a special gift. Then on Wednesday, the next day, August 29th, the fans will receive a special gift themselves when the first 30,000 fans with a paid admission will receive a pin featuring Gwynn's number 19 jersey. Now, this is not obviously on your schedules at home, and many folks didn't know about it. This has just been added to the list, so mark it down. Give the Cardinals a call, 241-2400. August 28th and August 29th. The Padres will come to town. It's a 3-game set and a chance to honor one of the game's greatest hitters of all time in Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, sorry to see Tony retire. That's another one that one of the last few guys that I've faced.
Tony Gwynn. How'd you pitch him?
Sometimes the best way to pitch Tony was just down the middle.
I mean, that's seriously.
That's what I'm
saying. He's
saying.
a great student of the game, and
you pitch him down the middle, and then you let him try and figure out: should I inside out it? Should I pull it? Should I do this? Should I do that? Because he's going to get his hits. You pitch him away, he knew how to take that ball to the opposite field.
He's one of those guys that you feel that he could still probably hit 300 the next 5 years if he could stay healthy and just stay in there. Tony Gwynn will be part of our This Day in Baseball History, brought to you by Schnucks. Four nothing Mets here in the second. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jim Edmonds. Two balls and a strike on Edmonds.
Jim Edmonds has plenty of experience of hitting against Xavier.
2-2 the count.
Have to see if the couple days off helps out Jimmy. Rest that shoulder a little bit. Sometimes a mental break is as important as a physical one.
Two pitch, just missed inside to Edmonds, and it's a full count. Edmonds, Paquette, Renteria here in the second. 195 since the All-Star break for Edmonds. Edmonds drives this one into center field. That's pretty well hit. Shinjo going back, turns around and makes the play. Nice play by the Mets center fielder, Shinjo.
The right fielder, number
It's a
21,
little shaky
Greg
on
Maquette.
his approach to tracking down that fly ball.
This day in baseball history, August 10th, 1995, the first forfeit of a Major League game in 16 years occurs at Dodger Stadium. When fans throw baseballs on the field, the game against the Cards was called in the bottom of the ninth. I misspoke earlier. I thought we were going to talk about Tony Gwynn, but instead we're talking about a game back in 95 that, were you a part of that game, that televised game?
Yep, we televised that one. Stopped play 2 or 3 different times before the umpires, and it was interesting. But you know, at the risk of the players, they made the right move. And then all hell breaks loose once the umpires say, "Okay, that's it. It's forfeited."
2 balls, no strikes on Paquette. It's been one of the bright spots as of late in that Redbird lineup. Strike on the outside corner. He's hitting .271 with 10 homers and 40 RBIs. The thing, Al, that really stands out about Paquette is when runners are in scoring position, he has been delivering this year.
And he's been fantastic in that, but that white strike is coming into play again.
2-2. Paquette making the start in right. Mark McGuire's on the bench. Pujols is at first.
Be one of these nights, Danny. And we're just going to have to cinch up the belts a little bit. And here, because a couple pitches were called outside, it looks like Paquette tried to expand his zone. But he is one hitter when he's got guys on base, and one guy when he's up there with no one on base.
Nobody on, 2 outs. Here's Renteria. Good pitch as he turns away from a breaking ball. Edgar hitting .248. Rip foul, and it's 0-2.
Edgar's starting to show some things, good signs of him coming out of it. What he's done the last 10 days, but it's not only just the offense, it's the defense that he's so much more steady.
Pops it up into shallow center. Shinjo is there and has it. With that flare in center. 1-2-3 inning for Kevin Napier. 4-0 Mets. Cardinal fans on Sunday, September 9th, when the Cardinals play the Dodgers, it's Pasta House, Coca-Cola pennant day at the ballpark. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a pennant featuring pitcher Darryl Kyle, courtesy of the Pasta House and Coca-Cola. September 9th, the Cards battle the Dodgers, and Darryl Kyle will make a start Sunday afternoon here at Shea, and he'll take on Bruce Chin. He's coming off a complete game, Kyle is. He's 12-7 with an ERA that is better than a year before. He's got an ERA of 2.87, and last season, of course, he won 20 games. Here's Kevin Napier. 2 for 41 on the year. Good play by Renteria to his left, takes his time and throws out Napier for out number 1 here in the second. It's 4-0 Mets. First 4 men, their lineup reached base. Double, single, a single, and then a 3-run home run. Midwest Sports Report is coming up after the game here at Shea Stadium. Of course, we'll have highlights and a recap here from New York. Also coming up, Rob King and Rob Nicoleski, Rams break camp. John Hadley sounds off, and the Fox focus is on Missouri quarterback Kirk Farmer. Midwest Sports Report at 10 coming up after the game. Here's Joe McEwing. Doubled and scored in his first at bat back in the first.
And Joe getting a chance to play quite a bit right now and making the most of it. And You can tell he's a favorite up here as he was in St. Louis.
In the hole, 0-2. Pitching matchups for this weekend. It'll be Dustin Hermanson against Glendon Rush. Tomorrow afternoon, Joe Buck will have that call on the Fox Network, and then Darryl Kyle and Bruce Chen. On Sunday afternoon will come your way 12:10 on WB11. 1-2 on McEwing.
See, now Woody's having a little better success keeping the ball down to these hitters. And I think he's going to try and exploit that pitch away. The umpire's going to call a ball on the outside part of the plate, utilize it, but you got to throw some inside to set up the ball away.
Came in there a little bit.
Yep. Good overhead camera right here. You see the ball up and in.
In St. Louis, 10 for 24 in 10 games against his former team. That almost hit him. 2-2 the count.
You got to keep people honest, and
the 2-2 pitch. Joe just goes with it. Paquette coming on, can't make the play. Bounces in front of him. And McEwing, the leadoff man, is 2 for 2.
The second baseman, number 13.
Both hits have been in right.
I think we need to change our approach and how we pitch to Joe McEwing. You know, he came in up and in, tried to lock him up there, and then a breaking ball down and away, but it's still too much of the plate. And Joe, you know, he's a good schooled hitter that, you know, is not trying to pull pitches. He tries to go with the pitch, and that's why he's 2 for 2 tonight.
Alfonso has an RBI and a single tonight. He drove in McEwing with a base hit into center. McEwing at first with 1 out. No balls and a strike. With Lawton on deck. This is the 11th batter he has faced, and he has thrown 10 first pitch strikes.
Well, that's part of the equation, but apparently when you're trailing by 4 and you're already given up 6 hits after the first pitch strike, it hasn't been very good.
Runner is going, and the pitch is fouled into the seats. 1-2. Joe McEwing, of course, was signed and started in the Cardinals organization back in 1992. Came up with the Redbirds in 98. Spent all of 99 with St. Louis and split time between AAA and the Mets in 2000 last year.
Cardinals did him a favor by trading him to the Mets because he was not going to make their team that year, even though the Orozco situation didn't pan out for the Redbirds.
2-2. Where is Jesse now?
Los Angeles.
That's what I thought.
You know, he had the
Back with the
elbow
Dodgers.
surgery and still tried to come back, and I don't know if he's still with a big club, but
That's why I asked. I know about a month ago he was.
yeah.
McEwing is gone. The pitch is a ball, and he has himself a stolen base, his 8th on the year. What's on tap? Brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Our next televised game will be Sunday at noon on WB11, the Cardinals and Mets. What's on tap, brought to you by Bud Light. Tomorrow's game will be televised on the Fox Network. So McEwing, his 8th stolen base. He's in scoring position. The count is full on Alfonso and 1 out. Mets already have 6 hits. There's a walk to the New York second baseman. Second time he has reached first and second. Just one out. Here comes Matt Lawton. And Woody Williams does not look sharp.
He is not, but he's a veteran pitcher that knows that he's got one out. He can get a ground ball and get out of this inning. One thing about Woody is he usually does give you a bulk of innings and doesn't really wear down your bullpen too badly.
Four nothing Mets, first and second, and that pitch is fouled away with one out. One out to Matt Lawton. Batting third in Bobby Valentine's order. If anything, Williams has been very consistent as far as getting innings. Near that 35 to 36 a month. They'll chew him up. One and one. Piazza on deck. 7-0 Houston on top of Florida. That's in the third. The Cubs have already won. They beat San Francisco this afternoon.
It's going to be an uphill battle.
First and second, just one out. The pitch is hit. 4-base hit into right. Here comes McEwing. And it's 5-0 Mets.
Lawton yesterday got his first hit here at Shea Stadium, and now he's got a pair here tonight. And bring up Piazza, who's had the single biggest blow of the game. We'll take a look at Lawton's RBI single, just a ground ball. He's looking for a ground ball, but this one finds a hole, and Super Joe scores the 5th run. 5-0 Mets.
McEwing has scored twice. Alfonso has scored. Lawton scored, and Piazza has scored as well.
Dave Duncan going to come out and talk to Woody Williams, with Piazza standing at the plate. 297 home runs as a catcher.
27 on the year for Mike Piazza after a 3-run shot in the first. 66 RBIs. Let's take you back to the first as he went out and golfed this pitch the other way.
And breaking ball, and just see how strong he is. And he kind of reaching, and he hits the ball the opposite field. Now, some guys do that, and you go, no way. But Piazza does it with his tremendous forearms, wrist. You know, you say, okay, he's strong.
It's a shot into center field, but Edmonds is there, and there's out number 2. Right on the button, but right to the Cardinals center fielder. And Piazza's 1 for 2.
Number 4.
All right, remember now, look at the home run ball with the one in the yellow on the left, and now look at where they've got him out, up and in. So he likes to get those arms extended. He is very unselfish in hitting the ball to the opposite field, but up and in, a lot of hitters don't hit that pitch.
Pitch tracks. The National Spit Tobacco Education Program and its chairman, Joe Garagiola, would like to remind you that smokeless does not mean harmless. You see the graphic with pitch tracks, and they want to remind folks about that. Robin Ventura with 2 outs, first and second. Lou to right his first time up. Alfonso at second. Lawton at first. The pitch is a ball. 1 through 4 in the order has done some damage here tonight already for the Mets. They've been to the plate 8 times, and only once they've been sent back, and that was Piazza's last at bat, which he lined out to center. Ground ball hit to Pujols. He flips to Woody Williams, and the Mets strand a couple, but they add to their lead. The RBI for Lawton. Drive in Joe McEwing. 5-0 New York. Top of the third, 5-0 Mets with the lead. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, these two teams will once again go head-to-head when Mark McGwire and the Cardinals take on Mike Piazza. The New York Mets. Coverage begins at 12 Central on your local Fox affiliate. Watch the entire baseball season unfold across the Fox networks. Cardinals and Mets tomorrow. 12 o'clock, they'll come your way with Joe Buck. Mets have stranded 3 on the night, but they have played at 5 and lead at 5-0. Here's Eli Marrero to lead things off here in the third. Mets got 4 in the first on a 3-run home run. That was by Piazza, 3 of the 4. Added another one in the second. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marrero seeing some more playing time down the stretch.
Well, Matheny's been slumping. I also feel that Eli has really been paying attention, getting more involved with the pitchers and their preparation.
Ground ball hit to short. Ordonez makes the play. 1 out. Will be the first to know the latest breaking Cardinals news. Log on to STLCardinals.com, the official source for Cardinals news. STLCardinals.com. Connect with it. Woody Williams hitting 175 with 4 RBIs. 1 out, nobody on. And we're in the top of the third. Vigna on deck. Late arriving crowd here at Shea. They've had just oppressive heat in the last week or so. They had a record here yesterday on the field. It was over 120 degrees. Philadelphia was 145 during the afternoon on the turf.
Turf there.
And it's a muggy night here in New York.
Yeah, they're saying a cold front's supposed to come in here. Where?
No doubt.
I mean, just humidity has got to be 99.99.
Swing and a miss.
Because that's a relative.
Explain the difference.
No, that's Joe Buck. Joe's always
the second baseman, number 4, Fernando Vigna.
I wouldn't expect you to know all that. 2 strikeouts for Kevin Appier, and that'll bring in Vigna.
I just tell you, it's hot.
Vigna singled and then was caught stealing, although he did steal the base, but came off the bag, and Ordonez kept the tag on him, and he was called out. Cardinals really could have gotten off to a good start in this game. They got a base hit by Vigna. He stays on the bag. He comes around on the double by Polanco. Robinson walked, and then Pujols hit a rope for a double play. It's those kind of things that have been happening, it seems like, all year long.
And it's probably just the break that Appier needed to kind of get straightened out, get out of the first unscathed.
Vigna is 7 for his last 16 and turns away from a high ball. 3-game hit streak.
Well, Dan, remember in our meeting in St. Louis where the Cardinals won 2 out of 3 against the Mets, Bobby Valentine was ejected and couldn't believe, and Turk Wendell was ejected.
It was a wild series.
Remember, the Cardinals hit about 5 of their guys, and they never hit one and had a couple ejections.
Ground ball and a nice play by Zeals. He had to move to his left, and Vigna rounds out to end the top of the third. A 1-2-3 for Appier. He has set down 7 straight. 5-0 Mets. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Auto Tire. For the very best in tires and service, you ought to go to Auto Tire. By Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. And by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. Shea Stadium in New York on a warm, muggy night. Rained all afternoon, but this game got started on time, and the Mets are out to a big early lead of 5-0 here in the bottom of the third.
I think both clubhouses had to be a little shocked that this game did start on time.
Yep. It'll be Zeal, Shinjo, and Ordonez. Zeal, his first time up, struck out. Caught looking on a high strike looked like a ball up and away, but he was called out on a 3-2 pitch. Seven nothing Houston. They lead Florida. That's in the 4th inning, and Chicago has won today. Two-one pitch. Misses low, and it's 3-1 on Todd Zeal, the former Cardinal.
Todd's got a few former clubs now.
Double digits, isn't it? Close to it.
Not quite there yet, but
pretty darn close.
Yeah, in both leagues. Cubs, Dodgers, Baltimore,
Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Florida, Texas.
I can't remember half of those.
Started in 1986, and he looks at a ball.
The center fielder.
Been in the league now for over 11 years. Will enter the AutoZone Sweet Deal Sweepstakes. Stop by any St. Louis area AutoZone store and enter to win 4 tickets to the best seat in the house, the broadcast suite at Busch. It's your chance to have the Cardinals experience of a lifetime. Stop by an AutoZone store today and enter to win. Cardinals have some action now in their bullpen. Here's Shinjo, center fielder for New York. Plays with a little flair, doesn't he, Al?
Yes, he does. He's a little more flamboyant than T.J. Matthews is throwing. Cardinals bullpen. He's kind of known for his flair back into his home Japan. Second position player to come to the United States and play in Major League Baseball.
Probably going to see more of that, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see more and more countries. Eventually, we'll get into Europe.
High breaking ball, and that was a hanger, but pulled foul. Ichiro is busted on the scene, and he gets most of the headlines, but Shinjo has been a very productive player for the Mets. Hideki Arabo, you think about. So Oka, the Expos, they started last night. Oh, 0-2 the count. Zeal at first after Williams walked him. He has walked 2 tonight. 5-0 in the 3rd. Ground ball, 1 hopper, Vigna for 1. That's all they'll get. 4-6 on the force, and that'll bring in the shortstop, Ray Ordonez. Ordonez popped out to second. It is only at bat. Mets got 4 in the first, another in the second, lead at 5-0. Mike Piazza, the big blow in this game, an opposite field 3-run home run, is 27th on the year. Ordonez is a slick fielder, but really struggles at the plate this year, hitting .234.
Normally kills the Cardinals. Like the last couple of years, he's had some of his biggest games of the year facing the Redbirds, and a lot of just bad mistakes.
A lot of talk about trying to change this lineup with the Mets during the offseason and get some of the guys that don't produce in their lineup out of New York. That might be 2. Renteria, Vigna. There's a double play up the line, but good play by Pujols at first to apply the tag. So the double play gets the Cardinals out of the bottom of the 3rd. We'll move to the 4th. Due up for St. Louis, Polanco, Robinson, and Pujols. Let's turn to tonight's Affleck trivia question. What is the Cardinals' record for the most 300 hitters in a season? Trivia brought to you by Affleck. We'll answer that in the bottom half of the 4th inning as Polanco will lead it off, and there's a look at Mitchell Page, the new hitting instructor, new hitting coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. 5-0 Mets here in the fourth.
Well, Polanco's extended his hitting streak to 19 games.
Part of our Casino Queen leaderboard, Placido Polanco, the longest in the National League with current hit streaks. 19, Pujols with 10-game hit streak, Kevin Millar with 10. Casino Queen leaderboard. Polanco has a double here tonight. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes a ball. 5-0 Mets here in the fourth.
We need base runners. We need to put a little pressure on Kevin Napier.
Polanco, Robinson, and Pujols in the top of the fourth for St. Louis. Napier has settled down after a rocky start. Polanco, a shot into left. That's going to get down and go past the left fielder, Joe McEwing. Polanco on his way to second. Digging around there, and he'll stop at second. So 2 for 2 with 2 doubles for Placido Polanco.
Not only does he have that 19-game hitting streak, but Polanco leads the ball club with 35 multi-hit games, including a team-high 13 3-hit games. But here you see he just plugs the gap with his wet track. The ball gets by Joe McEwing. You feel like you're running in soggy water.
Here's Kerry Robinson, who walked his first time up. 317. Polanco is at second. And the first to Kerry is inside, almost hit him. Pujols on deck. Leading hitter in the National League is Moises Alou at 365, and moving up the ladder is Polanco near that 330 mark. He's at second. Kerry chased that pitch, 1-1. Got tied up and couldn't stop.
Ball definitely up and out of over the plate, and tried to stop, and momentum just carried him right on through.
Polanco is at an even 330 now with a 2 for 2 night, 2 doubles. He's at second. Nobody out. Room to the left side if Robinson wants to go there. Ordonez near the bag. Pulls that pitch, foul. 1-2.
The out's out to talk to Napier after that last one. A funny swing by Kerry, but Napier's ahead in the count, and I think what Kerry saw was some pitch that at the very least he could pull and advanced Polanco.
Just got to get that first run and try to get something going. Down 5-0.
You know, this infield defense isn't as good as it used to be for the Mets.
Pops this one up. Ventura is there and makes the play in foul ground. Hey, Cardinal fans, use your MasterCard credit card to see the Cardinals for less. Go to www.stlcardinals.com or call area code 314-421-2400 and ask for the MasterCard Grand Slam ticket pack today. STLCardinals.com or 421-2400 for the MasterCard Grand Slam ticket package. Here's Albert Pujols. 1 out, Polanco at second. Albert barely missed home run number 28 on the year last night. Hit it off the top of the wall in center field at Olympic Stadium. Had a pair of hits. He is hitting .324. Hit into a double play his first time up. Lined it to third, and then they double off Polanco at second. It was a bullet. No balls and a strike with Polanco at second, and the next from Napier. 0-2.
Coming inside on him, we've seen a lot of times where Pujols has been able to plug the gap out in the right center, and with the wet outfield grass, the ball could get down and be damaging.
So Polanco has extended his hit streak tonight. Pujols trying to do the same. It's at 10 games. One and two. Albert has hit safely in 82 of his 108 starts this year. Played third, right, first, left, and DH a couple of times. One of two All-Stars on the year for the Cardinals. Just got a piece.
He played a new position in the All-Star game.
Second base.
Second base.
Bobby Valentine put him out there for the National League squad and said, just don't get hurt.
And that was part of Vigna's contention that he or Biggio should have gone because they only had one second baseman on the team.
The 1-2 pitch tied him up. Did he go around? No, he didn't. 2-2.
Bulls pitch there, but he laid off it, and it was the correct call. It was inside.
Edmonds on deck. We're in the fourth, one out. The Cardinals have just 3 hits on the night. Mets have 7 and lead it 5-0. Time is called by Albert. Two doubles last night. Albert with 58 extra base hits on the year. That's in the top 10 of the National League. The 2-2 pitch coming to Albert Pujols. Check swing, did not go around, and it's a full count. Ooh, watch out.
Apier was looking at first base umpire Bruce Fromming to see if there was an appeal play and was not looking when Piazza threw the ball. Watch him look to the first base umpire. Piazza starts to flip the ball to him, and he adjusts, catches it last second.
3-2 pitch. Albert went around that time. Struck him out. Strikeout number 3 on the night for Apier, and Pujols is 0 for 2. And it's up to Edmonds. You'd hate to see this leadoff double by Polanco and then have none doing. All for naught.
Well, we've seen it far too many times where the Cardinals get a man in scoring position and he does not advance for the next couple runners or hitters, but 2-out base hit would cure that.
That's what Edmonds is going to have to do here. He flied to center near the track his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Jim's average has dipped under 270. He's at 268. Night off yesterday and back in the lineup tonight. Paquette on deck if Edmonds can extend the inning. 2-0. Mets were the 2000 National League champions last season and beat the Cardinals in postseason play, and then lost to their crosstown rivals, the Yankees. Edmonds a shot. That's a base hit. Here comes Polanco, and the Cardinals are on the board. An RBI for Edmonds. That's number 58 on the season. A big 2-out hit. And maybe that gets things going. 5-1 now, Mets.
Dan, that's where you got to look at it, and got an off-speed pitch that came right into his wheelhouse, down and in, and a line drive that for a minute you thought, well, the Cardinals' frustration would continue if Alfonso were to catch it, but he did not, and Polanco scores the first run. That's a start.
It's like guys are moving in quicksand out there, and in particular in the outfield.
And they built this Shea Stadium over a landfill. So it's always drained very well, but it can be very soggy out there. They have some natural drains in the outfield grass, but the field took a lot of water.
5-1 Mets. We're in the fourth. 2 outs. Here's Paquette. Struck out his first at bat. He's 0 for 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. These two teams will be back at it tomorrow afternoon. Fox National Game of the Week. Sunday we're on WB11. Kyle against Bruce Chin. Tomorrow Hermanson against Glendon Rush. Well, the Cardinals have 4 hits on the night. And a big one by Edmonds with 2 outs to get them on the board. It's 5-1 Mets. 1-1 pitch up the middle. Alfonso is playing towards there and flips to the shortstop Ordonez. And the Cardinals are done in their top half of the fourth. 5-1 Mets with the lead. Move to the bottom of the fourth here at Shea Stadium. Our Aflac trivia question for tonight. What is the Cardinals' record for the most 300 hitters in a season? 11 in 1930. Wow.
And we were talking about the drains. That almost looks dangerous, doesn't it?
Yep.
We have several of them placed at different points in the outfield grass.
Not almost, it does. Look dangerous. Bottom of the fourth. This is Apier, the pitcher. 5-1 Mets. And a strike from Woody Williams. 1 ball, 1 strike. Apier on the year is 2 for 42. After him, it's McEwing on deck, and then Alfonso. Top of the order has done the damage tonight for New York. The biggest hit, a 3-run home run from Mike Piazza. Breaking ball, and Apier held up. 2-2. Mets got 4 in the first and 1 in the second. Cardinals came back with 1 in the fourth, and it's 5-1. The strikeout for Williams. His second this evening. Well, tonight at 11:30, it's the last word with Jim Rome. Jim tells it like you know it is on the nightline of sports talk shows. Tonight, Jim Rome will have his weekly wrap recapping all the big stories in the world of sports over this past week. The last word with Jim Rome tonight at 11:30 right here and only here. The last word on Fox Sports Net. There's Joe McEwing. He's had a big night. Scored a pair of runs. Has a double and a single. Both have been into right field. 2 for 2 on the night.
Moved his average up to 316. And depending on what happens this inning, we go back to the first inning. Joe McEwing led off this ball game with a base hit into the right field corner. Second inning, another shot, base hit into right. Stole a base too.
That was stolen base number 8 on the year for Joe. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Mets come into tonight's action. A huge disappointment in the National League. 10.5 games out. Atlanta leads the division by 2 games over Philadelphia, and then Florida's 6 back. Mets 10.5 out. Montreal 16.5 games back.
You know, in each of McEwing's first at-bats, he saw 6 pitches in the at-bat.
Fouls this one behind home plate. 2-2.
Well, the whole thing, he makes these pitchers go deep into the count, and the more pitches you throw, the more likely is you'll serve up a mistake or something he can handle.
On the National League West, Dodgers on top by a game over San Francisco, a 1.5. Arizona is back. Then it's San Diego and Colorado. Boy, Colorado's just gone in the tank. 20 games below 500. McEwing gets under this one and flies it to left. Gary Robinson camps under it and has it for out number 2. Advanced Auto Parts NL Central standings, and this is what it looks like for St. Louis. They're 7.5 games out. That is updated with the Chicago Cubs win today. They're 66-48. Houston 2 games out. They're leading their game 7-0 over Florida. And you see Milwaukee, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh behind the Cardinals. NL Central division standings brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. Alfonso steps to the plate with nobody on and 2 outs. Well, you see it, it's in the 5th, 7-0 Astros.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if Woody can retire Alfonso. He's scheduled to be the 3rd hitter, and unless there is a offensive threat, he might let him go back out there.
Flies this one into deep right center. Edmonds going back near the wall, looking up and makes the play, and it's a good one by Jim Edmonds. Right on the track and running into the wall, and Edmonds made the play. Alfonso gave it a ride the opposite way, but Edmonds was there, and it's 5-1 Mets. Top of the 5th here at Shea Stadium. Jim Edmonds, a very good play. Took a hit away from Alfonso to end the 4th. It's 5-1 Mets here in the 5th. Edmonds has made some very good plays here at Shea Stadium in his brief Cardinal career, and this last play he made is our Pennzoil protection play of the game.
And when you talk about running on a wet track, you go from the grass, you go to that dirt surface, you know the wall is coming up there, kind of looking back into the lights, and it takes a little more concentration under these conditions.
Very good play by Edmonds, and here we go in the 5th.
Of course, in postseason, he made one of his great patented catches right here at Shea Stadium. One of his dives and straight on back. Not as good as the one in Kansas City, but close.
Yep. Renteria tonight has flied to center. 0 for 1, 1 ball, 1 strike, and it's 5-1 Mets. The Cardinals have made a move today. They claim Miguel Cairo off of waivers. He'll be in attendance with the club tomorrow. So the Cardinals will have to make a roster move tonight or before tomorrow afternoon's game. And how about this? The Cubs also lose Gary Matthews Jr.
And tried to sneak them both through waivers as he brought up a pair of right-handers. Or no, excuse me, a left-hander, reliever. Onan.
Pittsburgh claim Matthews. Ball and 2 strikes in Renteria.
The Cardinals had some interest in Matthews too, but Pittsburgh claimed him. I think we already have our Matthews type player in Kerry Robinson.
Yep.
But we need some more backup infielders. And Cairo's very versatile. He's a pretty good hitter too. But he'll provide some bench strength and plays several different infield positions, and he could play the outfield if he needed to.
2-2 pitch. Fouled away. Renteria coming off a huge homestand in which he had 522. And he has hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games. That included a 9-game hit streak, and he's hitting .349 over the last 12 games. 0 for 1 tonight, though, with a flyout. Remember, the Cubs claimed Chris Haas to start the season. Remember that?
Yep.
2-2 pitch. Pulled down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Just snuck in the bag. And Renteria trots into second with a stand-up double here in the 5th. And for the Cardinals, that's their 5th hit on the night.
Number 26, Eli Marrero.
Mike Matthews is throwing in the Cardinals bullpen, and that was barely a fair ball, but a double nonetheless for Renteria.
I think Cardinals would like to see at least Marrero trade places with Renteria or something, and then make an option, because Woody Williams is starting to settle down a little bit, and I think it's somewhat of an option whether they want to have him sacrifice or go to the bullpen.
Marrero lays down a bunt. It's a beauty. That's a base hit.
Now you got it. Now you almost have to pinch hit for him. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to pull him back and pinch hit for Williams in this spot. Of course, Mark McGwire is available to do it.
Drops down this bunt, and he caught Ventura, Gold Glover, all the way back there. And on this grass that was covered for the most of the time, but it still was going to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
They deadened it perfectly,
Pinch
and now
hitting for the
Stubby
St. Louis
Clapp
Cardinals,
will pinch
number
hit.
29, Stubby Clapp.
You would figure that with roster moves coming up, Clapp would be the guy that might be on the way out.
That would probably be the most logical, unless they put somebody on the disabled list.
Right.
But he's got a golden opportunity right here to make a statement as to why he should maybe stay.
Drew's availability is not there tonight with that sore back. McGuire is available, Bonilla is available, and here's Stubby Clapp with first and third. And nobody out and a chance to get back in this game. The corners are in. Zeal holds it first. The first pitch, he is a strike to Stubby. Made a start last night in Montreal.
At the very least, that start last night gives him a little more of a fighting chance in this at bat right now.
Cardinals 36 round selection back in the 96 draft.
He's batting .317 in Memphis when he was brought to the big leagues.
Runner is going, and the pitch is swung on and missed, and that's a stolen base for Eli. His third on the year. A base hit gets you right back in this game with the way that Marrero can move around the base paths, and he got a good jump here against Kevin Appier.
Well, he's just very, very fast and got the good jump on top of it. The slow delivery to the plate. The outside doesn't even make the throw. Now a base hit, could be two.
5-1, Mets have the lead. It's second and third. Nobody out for Clapp here in the fifth. Vigna on deck. 1-2. Base hit, you're right back in it.
Absolutely, and that's the way you've got to think.
Stubby was 0 for 3 last night. In the hole here with a ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Clapp strikes out. Big strikeout there for Appier. His fourth on the evening.
The second baseman, number 4, Fernando Vigna.
From our over-the-head camera, you can see pretty much right in the middle of the plate, but down a little bit, and he swung over the top of it. Off-speed pitch, 77 miles an hour.
Tough challenge here for Appier, facing back-to-back, arguably the 2 hottest bats in the lineup in Vigna and Polanco. Vigna tonight is a base hit. He's 1 for 2.
Extended his inning streak to 3 games.
Renteria at third. Marrero is at second. Vigna lifts this one into left center. Shinjo is there. McEwing is there. Shinjo takes charge and makes the play. A run will score, an RBI for Vigna as Renteria comes across with the Cardinals' second run on the night, and it's a 5-2 Mets lead. Vigna, RBI number 41.
Third baseman, number 27, Placido Polanco.
Inability to lift a sacrifice fly has cost the club an awful lot. Renteria, who led off with the double in the Cardinals' 5th inning, comes around to score. It's a 5-2 Mets lead.
The Cardinals do have a 2-out base hit tonight to drive in a man. That was from Edmonds, the first run of the night for St. Louis, and the Cardinals need one here. Polanco, 2 for 2, 2 doubles and a run scored. He went on to score in the 4th. Let's take a look and see what he has done tonight. 2 for 2 with those 2 doubles, Al.
Well, the first time they kind of go up and in, and he turns on it inside the third base bag for a double. Next time in the 4th inning, he goes to his patented shot up the middle and has kind of plugged the gap. So he's got a pair of doubles. He scored a run, came home on that 2-out base hit by Edmonds, and now we ask him to do a 2-out magic. And he did.
Lifts it into right field. Coming on is Lawton. Can't make the play, and it's 5-3. Eli scores the second 2-out hit on the night for the Cardinals, and it's now a 5-3 game, and right back in it are the St. Louis Cardinals as Polanco picks up the RBI. That's number 28, and he's 3 for 3.
Well, and he now has team high 14 3-hit contests. Look at that. Just sticks the bat out there, goes out there, and almost identical pitches down and away, and You know, they've tried to go up and in on him, now down and away, but he just keeps on finding a way to put the bat on the ball, and good things happen when you make contact. And Eli, with that speed and 2 outs, he's off to the races, and a big third run comes in. So the Cardinals fell behind 5-0, but they're battling back, and it's 5-3 now. Polanco, 3-hit games. He has 15.
That leads the National League. 3 for 3 tonight with 2 doubles and the single. He has scored a run, has an RBI, number 28 on the year. Polanco, Renteria, and Marrero have scored the St. Louis runs, and here's Kerry Robinson.
Got to see if Kerry can't extend this and bring up Pujols and his 10-game hitting streak.
Robinson tonight has walked and popped to Ventura at third. Pops this one up, but behind home plate and into the seats. 5-3 Mets here in the 5th, and the Cardinals are right back in the game. Woody Williams is done for the night. He was pinch hit for with Stubby Clapp off the bench. Mike Matthews has been throwing in the Cardinal bullpen.
Bruce Benedict is the advanced scout for the Mets, and looks like he wants to jam Kerry Robinson.
He does it there, but this is going to be a tough play. But they get the lead man, Polanco. Zeal through for the force at second, and carries 0 for 2 on the night. 2 more runs for the Redbirds, and it's 5-3 Mets. Big night for that man, and that's Placido Polanco. He's 3 for 3. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Move to the bottom of the 5th here at Shea Stadium. Matt Lawton, Mike Piazza, and Robin Ventura are up for the New York Mets, and Mike Matthews is the new pitcher, the left-hander in for St. Louis.
Now he's preparing for the 32nd time, 10 of which were starts for Mike. And in relief, he has been very good. He's allowed just 3 runs in 23 and 2/3 innings in relief for a 1.14 ERA. There are times when Mike needs to project a more positive and more aggressive attitude and win the favor of his manager and pitching coach.
Pitched a 1/3 of an inning last night. Got a big strikeout of Lee Stevens. And a key point in that game.
And the night before he got a big strikeout to end an inning, and then he went out there and it was a little shaky, got him trouble. Hackman bailed him out before he went out there and took the loss.
Lefties are hitting under 200 against Mike Matthews, and here's Lawton, who's 2 for 2. Line on Woody Williams. He's done. 4 innings pitched, 5 runs, all earned, 7 hits, a pair of strikeouts, and 2 walks. His road debut for the Cardinals.
Woody's just a statement, and just the fact that he got off to a poor start. First 4 batters all came around to score. After that, he pitched pretty well.
The 0-2 pitch. Good pitch by Mike. Just missed, 1-2. Mike has returned to the bullpen. For the 3rd time this season, he has made 21 relief appearances and 10 starts, and this is relief appearance number 22 during this 2001 campaign. Next pitch, swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Mike, and that's how we start. The bottom of the 5th. Good pitch.
The catcher, number 31, Mike.
Well, Mike has good stuff, and he can really go out there with a lot of breaking balls and keep that ball consistently away from these left-handed hitters. Change speeds, but he's also got a good fastball. He's got a changeup. He doesn't have to use those other pitches when he's got, you know, the right-handed batters. But a breaking ball coming away to the left-handers is a very successful pitch for Mike.
Here is Mike Piazza. He has a 3-run home run tonight. Piazza is 1 for 2. He also lined out to Edmonds at center. Hit the ball hard. Average is up to 287.
You know, he's like most power hitters, likes that ball out away from the plate, try to get the hands extended.
Fouls it back, 1-1. Piazza now with 27 home runs with that homer back in the first and 66 RBIs on the year, and certainly those numbers are way down for him. One of the questions surrounding Piazza, Al, is how much longer will he stay at his current spot behind the plate?
I think Mike realizes where he could end up in the rankings of catchers and power statistics, and
could be number one.
Well, he should be, and he'll stay behind the dish until he is number one.
The 2-1 pitch, 2-2. Got him to chase.
That's what I'm saying. Mike's got very good stuff. It's just at times he'll show a little crack in the armor.
Fastball can reach 94. A couple times it's hit 95 this season. The 2-2 to Piazza. Ground ball left side. There's Placido Polanco. Hit by Pujols, and there's 2 away.
I'll tell you one thing. Pujols has made some great pickups, and Polanco sometimes you just never expect him to bounce the ball or anything like that. But a couple times Pujols has been tested. He's pretty good over there.
Yep.
Comes over here and a little bit careless. He didn't really set himself to throw. Kind of a little bit nonchalant, something that he typically does not do. And the ball skipped over there to Pujols, and he made the play.
Ventura is 0 for 2 on the night. Mets third baseman, hitting under 240 on the year. Fly to right and grounded to first. 2-0. This Mets lineup has been disappointing. As far as the offense goes, they have not done the job. Ventura, Zeal, Alfonso. That's hit the opposite way. A little lazy fly ball for Kerry Robinson. And a 1-2-3 inning, and a very good one for Mike Matthews out of the bullpen. He's taking over for Woody Williams. Cardinals trail 5-3.
This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. For tires and complete auto service, all you need is Dobbs. Hey, Cardinal fans, on Tuesday, August 14th, when the Cardinals play the Cincinnati Reds, it's AMC Theaters Player Action Photo Night. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive an action photo featuring rookie sensation Albert Pujols. And the bottom of the action photo comes with a coupon good for 1 free small popcorn, courtesy of AMC Theaters. That's Tuesday, August 14th, when the Cards face the Reds. Gotta love that fresh popcorn from AMC. And you gotta love Albert Pujols. Boy, where would the Cardinals be? And remember, it all started with Bobby Bonilla going on the disabled list with a hamstring pull and opened up a roster spot for Pujols, and I think he has succeeded. Thanks, Bobby.
He answered. Here's Pujols in a 5-3 Mets lead. He's 0 for 2, trying to extend a hit streak to 11 games. Hit into some tough luck in his first at bat, lined into a double play, hit it right on the button. And then his second time up, Pujols struck out, and he has seen a steady diet of breaking balls in that middle to outer half from Kevin Appier, who's given up 7 hits on the night. Pujols, Edmonds, and Paquette in this inning. We're in the 6th. 5-3 Mets.
Appier just kind of changes speeds a little bit. Works both sides of the plate. Tries to keep people honest. Doesn't walk many, only one tonight. That was back in the first.
Pujols is shot into left center field. Get down, and it will. One hopper off the wall and into the seats. A ground rule double for Albert Pujols. Hitting streak up to 11 games for Albert. Leadoff double, hit number 8 on the night. He's 1 for 3, and for the Cardinals,
Center fielder, number 15, Jim Edmonds.
that is double number 4 on the night.
You know, you get that ball out away from him, gets the arms extended, and you're almost doing him a favor. There it is, just sort of sitting out there, and he hits the ball hard. You know, Apier is 0-2 against the Cardinals. He lost a game earlier this season and won a couple years ago when he was a member of the Kansas City Royals at Kauffman Stadium.
Here's Edmonds, who has a big 2-out base hit, trying to bunt his way on, and fouls it away. Down by 2 runs. Edmonds trying to move up the runner and trying to get himself on.
Well, I think he's just trying to get a base hit and trying to get an extra runner. Felt like that would maybe surprise Ventura a little bit. Remember, he's not quite the hitter that he has been, even though he did get that RBI 2-out base hit his last time up.
He is 1 for 2. He's also flied to center. Tied up on that pitch.
All off the plate, but almost defensively swinging at it.
No balls and 2 strikes on Edmonds. Paquette is on deck. Cardinals at one point trailed 5-0. It's now 5-3. The next to Jim. Swing and a high drive down the right field line. Did he turn on that or what? Wow! Game tied on Edmonds' 16th home run of the season. 5-5. An 0-2 pitch, and he turned on it. Woo!
You know, he's a high ball hitter like we talked about, and because of the ailing shoulder, there's times when he will just sort of cheat. When I talk about cheat, he'll just kind of open up and say, I think I'm going to get a fastball, and start his swing. And he guessed right. He caught this one up to the mezzanine level, and boy, that ball was crushed. He get on top of this one, but you see how he had to open up, because the shoulder, he'll get to a certain point. If he's trying to strike right back at the pitcher, the shoulder goes to a certain point, and then he can't pull the bat through. So he's almost got to fall away from it and cheat with that swing. If it's an off-speed pitch, he's lost. But if he catches the fastball, he can do what he just did.
Home run number 16, RBIs 58 and 59 for Jim Edmonds. He's got 3 tonight. And make it 60 with that home run. And the strike to Paquette. A new game. It's 5-5.
Well, let's go see why it's a new game. This is the first pitch, 86 mile an hour, now 85, and this is the one he hit out. You see, none of them were strikes, but he was falling back, tried to catch and time it perfectly, and he did so.
1-2 on Paquette. Jim has made a very good defensive play in center near the wall, and a couple of hits and 3 RBIs.
How about this? You know, with the way things have been going, you see the life of this ball club. They're trailing 5-0, but they've come back to tie it, and you need to just keep on putting the pressure on.
Strikeout of Paquette. Strikeout number 5 for Kevin Apier this evening. Coming up tonight, the Midwest Sports Report with Rob King and Rob Nicoleski. And this evening, they'll be talking about, of course, this Cardinal game here at Shea. Also, the Rams break camp in Macomb. Hadley sounds off. John Hadley of KTRS Radio, and the Fox focus will be on Kurt Farmer, quarterback from Missouri. Here's Renteria. Looks at a ball. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the 6th, and it's 5-5. Renteria has a double. Also a run scored. He's 1 for 2. The next to the Cardinals shortstop. That may have untied this game. Down the left field line. Goodbye. Renteria goes deep. His 9th home run on the year. 6-5 Redbirds. At one point down 5-0. Now a lead of 6-5.
You get Jim Edmonds coming alive and Edgar Renteria go along with Pujols and Polanco and Vina. You get a healthy McGuire and J.D. Drew back, and there's still plenty of time to send a little fear to a couple clubs ahead of us in the Central Division. That's what we expect to see from Renteria. Look at him turn on this pitch. Open up those hips. A strong. You grab his biceps and everything, and you find out how strong he is.
This is Marrero. Ventura over to Zeal. 2 outs. Edgar Renteria with home run number 9 and RBI number 37.
Renteria, there's to see it's a fastball off the plate, but he opened up on it. I think early in the year, Renteria was looking for those type of at-bats all the time and got him in some bad habits. But of late, he's got his good hitting because he's gone back to trying to take the ball up the middle, not lifting that front leg up so much. And then now, when you have that sound approach, if somebody throws the ball inside, every now and then you'll turn on it.
Here's Mike Matthews. 408 feet for Edmonds' home run. A 2-run home run after Pujols had doubled to lead off this inning. The next to Matthews, swing and a foul back, and it's 0-2. It'll look at the home run for Renteria. That is number 9 on the year.
See, it's up and in a little bit, but his hands were a lot quicker, and he opened up with those hips and put a charge in it. Last year, he set a new Cardinal record for home runs by a shortstop, and I think that kind of messed up his timing a little bit, or thinking that, okay, let me see if I can set a new record in April.
I think you made a real valid point the other day when, and it's probably no coincidence, to see Renteria playing so well, and he looks like a different player, a little bit more step, a little bit more life in the field, and then obviously at the plate he's picked it up. But after the trade deadline, after his name was being circulated around the league that he could be dealt and wasn't, it's been a different player.
Just relaxed. You know, he likes it here. He likes his teammates. He wants to play in St. Louis, and he knew he was having the most frustrating year of his young career, and didn't like the fact that his name was being bandied about. And once he found out that he wasn't traded, it just seemed like he relaxed, and his game's come back to him.
Yep. 2 outs, nobody on, and the 1-2 pitch got him to chase, and Matthews strikes out. Well, the Cardinals at one point down 5-0. They get 1 in the 4th, 2 last inning, and 3 this inning. 2 on that swing, 1 on another. Well, the Cardinals have scored 6 unanswered and lead it by the score of 6-5 after starting this game down 5-0. Today's Pizza Hut perfect delivery of the game is this go-ahead swing by Edgar Renteria, his 9th home run on the year, and it's our perfect delivery of the game brought to you by Pizza Hut, and that has made it a 6-5 Cardinal lead.
It's really sweet, and Edgar has been playing some sweet baseball. Dan, here's something I want to, I've been a real big supporter of Mike Matthews, and I want to see him do something that I haven't seen him do for the last couple times. Now that Matthews has a chance for this victory, he pitched very efficient 1, 2, 3, 5th inning. He was trailing it. Now he's got a lead. Now I want to see that demeanor the same way, or even more aggressive. Go right after these hitters and go close this game out and pick up a victory. Not only for himself, but also for his team.
Yep, that's a good point. Here's Todd Zeal. Bottom of the 6-5 Cardinals. In many ways, would this be nice to come back and hold on, but the club is really showing more signs of life in the last couple of weeks. You think about the game that they eventually lost in Montreal, but came back to tie it up, had a chance to win it in the 9th. This game down 5-0, and you go in knowing that the Cubs have already won. You're down 5-0, and you look up at the scoreboard here at Shea, and Houston's winning 7-1. These are big games.
Well, you know, the one thing is a compliment to Tony and his staff and the players in general. There was no finger pointing. We know the offense was letting down the pitchers. There was no finger pointing. Today it was kind of the reverse. One of the rare times in the last couple weeks, about 3 weeks, where a pitcher had a rough outing, but yet team said, okay, we got to suck it up. We got to battle back, and they have. But it's still not over.
Zeal, ground ball. There's Polanco. 1 out. And some boos for Todd Zeal.
Well,
who is over 2.
Number 5.
Mike Matthews did something there. He fell behind the count 2-0, but then he reached back, he got a strike, and more importantly, he didn't go into that power mode. He threw a changeup and got the ground ball out.
Here's Shinjo, the center fielder for the Mets. Those wristbands are awful. Awful.
You don't like, does it?
No.
They're a little long for me.
Look like cut off socks.
I was going to say pantyhose.
I wouldn't know about those things.
I've never
On
worn
your
them.
arms?
I've never worn them either. Oh, you have worn them on your legs?
Well, you know, hey.
You're one of those hockey players, you know.
Oh.
See if Pronger's back from his honeymoon.
Yeah.
Right, that one.
1 ball, 1 strike on Shinjo. Seen him hit a couple of home runs, and during the highlights when you watch him, Al, he's sitting there flipping the bat and trotting around the bases, and sometimes the way that he catches a ball, it's done with emphasis, to say the least.
And it's very surprising because the culture in Japan is one of extreme politeness. So to see the showing up of the hot dog is a little bit new. And I guess they get TV over there in Japan too of U.S. games.
Yep. 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
What I'm talking about, Mike. Pitch aggressively.
Ordonez is on deck, and then it's the pitcher's spot. And Kevin Appier, no one is throwing in the Mets bullpen yet.
Yes, he is. He's just behind the stands. You couldn't see.
Now walk to Shinjo. So with 1 out, he's at first.
The shortstop, number 10, Ray Ordonez.
Second time he has been aboard. He's also doubled.
Pitches to Shinjo were all over the place. They were up out of the strike zone. They were down below the strike zone and outside. I mean, look at that. I mean, we're not even anywhere close. You do not want to let the opposition back into this game.
One-run lead for the Cardinals here in the 6th. Cardinals have turned a double play. That was on Ordonez back in the 3rd, and now Tony La Russa is going to make a pitching change right here.
Well, see, this is what Tony doesn't believe in Mike, because he gives him that impression that, okay, I can't pitch with a lead. And that's what you've got to change. That manager has to see something more aggressive.
Luther Hackman will be asked to come in and try to get out of this inning with 1 out and a man at first. Matthews is done. He pitched a scoreless 5th. He exits with 1 out here in the 6th, and Hackman will be brought in this game. Well, Cardinal fans, if you would like to win Redbird tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during a Cardinals home game, here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game. P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63177. Good luck from Southwest Airlines and all of us here at Fox Sports Net. Luther Hackman is the new pitcher and the 3rd pitcher on the night for St. Louis, the 26-year-old right-hander. He came in on Wednesday night and did a good job, but was saddled with his 2nd loss on the year when he allowed the game-winning back-to-back doubles in the 11th and that heartbreaker to Montreal. But in the 10th inning, stranded a couple of runners with no outs. and brought the game into the 11th. Made 16 relief appearances at Memphis this year. He was 0-2 with an ERA under 3. It's 6-5 Cardinals. We're in the bottom of the 6th here at Chase Stadium. And Ray Ordonez at the plate. He has hit into a double play, and he's also popped to second in Fernando Vina. Hitting under 240, 233 for Ordonez. First pitch by Hackman, a strike. Game started with Woody Williams. He lasted 4 innings, and he gave up 5 runs. It was 5-0. The Cardinals come back. 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th to take the lead.
See them try and run against Luther.
Shinjo only 2 stolen bases on the year. He's at first. Line drive hit into center. But Edmonds is there playing very shallow and played it right. And back to first goes the Mets center fielder Shinjo.
Jim Edmonds, the Gold Glover, and a lot of it has to do with that shallow depth that he plays, and takes a lot of hits away from batters, and he can go back on the ball as good as anybody. After that line drive up the middle, and Mark Johnson, the pitch hitter, big power guy. Dave Duncan comes out to talk to him and help him out with how his approach. One thing about Dave Duncan, he has a very good idea of how to retire all hitters. And I've heard a lot of people say that if he wasn't such a good pitching coach, he would make an excellent hitting coach.
Kevin Apier, the Mets starter, is done. And here is Johnson to pinch hit here in the bottom of the 6th. Against right-handed pitching, Johnson hitting .278 with 4 homers and 13 RBIs. He's made 14 starts for the Mets this season, once as a DH, 4 times at first and 4 times in right.
He's hit .412 as a pinch hitter.
Can also play the outfield. You're right, this guy is an imposing figure at the plate. He's big.
He's a quarterback in college for one of the Dartmouth or one of the Ivy League schools. You know, he's got some pop at his bat, but like a lot of big guys, there's some holes in there in that swing too.
Shinjo's at first. The first pitch to Johnson. He is a ball out and away. 1-0. So Apier is done. He throws 6 innings for the Mets, strikes out 6, gives up 10 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned. Had a lead of 5-0 and couldn't hold it. Hackman showed some guts the other night in the 10th, but couldn't sustain that feeling in the 11th.
Dan, it's almost like, and it's part of the emergence of a young pitcher. That first inning, they have their adrenaline juices pumping, and they go out there and they get out of it, and then they sit down and rest, and then they realize, oh, I'm the pitcher of record now, and then they try to trick you and get behind in the count, and things just kind of snowball from there. But it's just something that eventually you learn, that if you can get people out with the game on the line, you're going to be something special.
Here's a good pitch by Hackman. Two and one. Mark Johnson hitting from the left side with 2 outs and Shinjo at first. (7-2) Houston with a lead over Florida. That's in the 8th, and the Cubs have already won. Cardinals trying to keep pace. 7.5 games out as we speak. Three balls and a strike as he did not go around. Dartmouth College was where Johnson attended.
It's a big pitch right here. Sinjo has that very good speed. You don't want to put him into scoring position.
The 3-1 pitch. Took a little something off it, pulled the string, and a good pitch by Hackman.
Well, that's part of pitching. You've got a hitter that's going to say, okay, I'm going to look for a fastball and this fastball count, and then it's up to you to take something off of it to get him out on front, off balance. Now, Pujols trying to figure out he'll play behind Sinjo.
Popped up. Foul ground. Polanco has it. Good job by Hackman. It's the final 2 outs in this inning. He took over for Matthews, who took over for Williams, and the Cardinals have a lead of 6-5. 6-5 Cardinals as we move to the 7th inning here at Shea Stadium in New York. While we have a moment on the field, we want to tell you about it. They're invincible, but off the field, they're all too human. Fox Sports takes a look at the athletes you thought you knew. This week, William Perry, Bill Lee, and Buster Douglas were unforgettable stars and characters who captured our imagination but left us all too quickly. Where are they now? A Beyond the Glory special Sunday at 8, only here on Fox Sports Net. Let's take a look at pitch tracks. The Cardinals have a couple of home runs tonight. One that tied the game up. That was to Jim Edmonds. The other by Renteria that gave the Cardinals the lead. Al, take a look at it here.
Well, you can see Jim Edmonds on the left, an 84-mile-an-hour fastball that was up and in, well off the plate, but he opened up on it, tomahawked it. Then he tried to come inside, another pitch off the plate to Renteria, and he was quick with his hands and hips, and he hit that one out for the 6th run. Edmonds is tied at 5-5, and then Renteria hit the home run to give us a 6-5, and here we are in the 7th.
And a new pitcher in, a right-hander in for New York.
Jared Riggins. He's come on to this game after Apier. His first pitch is hit out into right center.
Sinjo is there and has it. And Vigna tonight is 1 for 4.
Third baseman, number 27, Placido Polanco.
There's following up on pitch tracks. Well, we were talking about the pitch high and in to Edmonds that he turned on, and then Renteria able to extend and drive it into left. Renteria has put the Cardinals on top, and Edmonds tied it up.
Riggins appearing for the 17th time. He's lost 2 ball games. ERA 4.50. 291 opponent's batting average, 26 innings, more hits than innings pitched, and 25 strikeouts in those 30 innings with 14 base on balls.
Quite a night for Placido Polanco. Pair of doubles and a single to go along with an RBI and a run scored. Playing third base tonight for Tony La Russa's club. There's a strike, 1-1. Well, Polanco has sprayed the ball tonight down the left field line into left center and also the opposite way. 1-1 pitch coming from the right-hander, Riggin.
Well, we're going to try and tell you, how do you pitch to Polanco? You'll see how difficult it is. The first time up, he got a double down the left field line with a ball that was a ball up and in. Then second time, a double out into left center with the ball high in the strike zone, and then an RBI single to right field and a ball down and away. So wherever the ball is pitched, he puts a good swing on it.
3 balls and a strike. Mitchell Page looking on, the Cardinals hitting instructor.
As I frequently do, I asked Mitch who his hitting star was tonight, and he said everybody. So I like that too.
Well, the Cardinals have banged out 10 hits this evening. They have scored in each of the last 3 innings and lead it by a run, 6-5. 3-2 to Polanco, hit sharply to short. Ordonez stays down, and 2 outs. That'll bring in Kerry Robinson.
Left fielder number 13, Kerry Robinson.
Kerry's looking for a base hit.
They've been pitching him in, and more in, haven't they?
Well, if you think about it, you know, where do we think he likes the ball?
Opposite way he goes with a lot of times, and he'll go with the pitch.
Yep, a ball away from him where he can slap it out to left. Now, what you're going to try and do with him, you look at him, you say, well, he's not that big, so you're going to pound him inside, try and tie him up.
Ventura way in on the grass at third, and he pulls this ball to second. Alfonso is there to Zeal on a 1-2-3 inning for the right-hander who took over for Apier. We're at Shea Stadium in New York. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net. Redbirds lead it 6-5. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom. 30 years, one mission, low fares, Southwest Airlines. And by Advanced Auto. The best part is our people. Advanced Auto Parts. The Reverend Vic Botaw is in New York City doing the Lord's work and rooting for the Cardinals. Wants to say hi to family and friends back home in St. Louis.
Got a note here from Cardinal fans from Old Monroe, Missouri, TJ and Lauren. And happy 12th birthday to Tony Schultz, watching on Fox Sports Midwest. Also, hey, good buddy, Dorian Magwitz, celebrating a birthday today. I left a voicemail for him. He's somewhere at one of the hotels here. Probably has his great granddaughter, Bernice, with him. Some people think they're married, but no, he's way too old for Bernice.
Be an odd combination. The age difference.
Trust me, he's odd.
He's hanging out with you. There's no question.
He just left a message for me at the hotel.
Here's a leadoff man, Joe McEwing. McEwing, Alfonso, and Lawton. Here in the bottom of the 7th, 6-5 Cardinals. Luther Hackman is the third pitcher used this evening by Tony La Russa. He came in with 1 out in the 6th. And McEwing flies this one into left center. Edmonds to his right and puts it away, and that's how we start the 7th.
And it's so important for Luther, and you know, at times he's shown those cracks in the armament. And same thing with Mike Matthews. You know, we need a little help down there in that bullpen. So these guys are given an opportunity, and they just got to seize the day. Isn't that carpe diem?
But he's not on tonight. Slayton.
Oh, okay.
It's John Hadley on the Midwest Sports Report. Well, McEwing with that flyout is 2 for 4 with a double and 2 runs scored. Here's Alfonso with a base hit and an RBI tonight. He has also scored. Came around on the 3-run home run by Piazza in the first. He walked, and he's also flied to center. Cardinals at one point trailed 5-0 and now lead at 6-5 here in New York. That almost caught Alfonso. Spinned away from it. Lawton awaits on deck.
That's where you want to be. You want to, you know, you miss inside off the plate. You put a little fear in that guy standing in the batter's box.
Got him to commit, go around 1 and 2.
Yep, probably was thinking ball was going to be ball inside, the next one's going to be away, and then it came right back inside on him and locked him up.
Hackman made his major league debut with the Rockies back in 1999. Appeared in 1 game last year for the Cardinals. Spent the entire season in Memphis, and he was 8-9. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Swing and a miss, and he got him to strike out, and there's 2 away. Boy, Luther has done a nice job out of the bullpen.
Number 23.
Got this stuff. And you know what? He throws his fastball right by him, overpowers him. Got him to chase a ball that's up in the zone. And that ball up there is very difficult to stay on top of. Alfonso's not having a good year, but I have the great respect for him and what he's done in the past.
Lawton is hit by that pitch. It bounced right in front of him and caught him on the shin or the knee area. And he is at first with 1 out, or rather 2 outs, and now you bring in the very dangerous Mike Piazza.
Well, see, that's part of planning ahead. Obviously didn't plan on hitting, Lawton, but you just got to be careful, and he doesn't do much to get out of the way of it, but Vina doesn't either. So, but now you see Dave Duncan will run out here and try and help him out, but you're obviously in a situation where you've got to be very careful to a guy that is so dangerous in these situations. Missing Mike Timlin, and Mike, after the surgery, had been working hard rehabilitating. I'm sure he's with Mark O'Neill doing that daily.
Let's talk about this situation with 2 outs and a man at first, and Piazza is already homered. One of the great power hitting catchers of all time. So if you're Luther Hackman, how do you approach it this at bat?
Very
tough
carefully,
question, huh?
But to me, it's something that you've got to be very careful. Late in the game, you don't want to pitch inside a lot, but I don't want to have this guy get his arms extended.
And that's the thing. How many times have we seen him hit for power to the opposite field like he did earlier tonight?
Well, that is his natural strength, and he'll catch a lot of breaking balls, but yet you don't, especially after a young pitcher hits a batter. It's very difficult to tell him, okay, pitch a guy inside, so they're going to go well away from him.
The next by Hackman, swung on and hit to center. Edmonds going back on the run, can't make the play. It's off the wall. This game is tied, and Piazza trots into second. It's 6-6.
Well, that ball has to be caught. That was a long, long run. It's a wet track and everything else, but Jimmy got to it, and he's a Gold Glover. There's that ball. You see that mighty swing and get the arms extended. Exactly what we talked about you don't want to do, but that ball has to be caught. I know it's a difficult play, but you're talking about a Gold Glover that's out there, and in this situation when it ties a game and maybe puts the go-ahead run in scoring position, you have to make that play.
A double for Piazza, and here's Ventura and a chance to put the Mets back on top. They've tied it back up here in the 7th. It's 6-6. That's fouled away. Well, Edmonds has made one very good play in center, and that one, as Al mentioned, a very catchable baseball.
Well, if you're not talking about somebody with his defensive skills, maybe it's one thing, but he got back to it, and we've seen him make some of the more difficult plays than that. But yet on the other side, you're going to say, well, if the average guy can't make it, then why should the exceptional defensive guy be penalized? But I still think if you ask Jim Edmonds, he'll tell you he should have made that play.
6-6 game here in the 7th. Piazza at second, 2 out. It's 2-1.
Let's go look at the location of the pitches to Piazza. Now, they did not tell him to throw those pitches there. If you're going to pitch to Piazza, you cannot throw him strikes and let his arms get extended.
Little tapper foul. 2-2. Well, how big was the hit by pitch on Lawton after Hackman had gotten the first 2 men in this inning? Started with a fly ball, then he got Alfonso to strike out, so he got the first 2 men, McEwen and Alfonso. Then Lawton hit by the pitch, Piazza the RBI. He's got 4 on the night. The 2-2 to the Mets third baseman. Caught him looking on the inside half. Ventura didn't like it, and we'll go to the 8th. The Mets get one in this inning and tie it back up. Piazza to deep center, and it's 6-6. Mike Piazza, 4 RBIs on the night, a 3-run home run, and last inning, in the bottom half, you talked about it, Al. You cannot let him extend his arms, and that's great camera work by our crew here in New York. Looks like he's pretty well extended there.
Well, he's extended, and you can see it's a strike. Now, if it's a pitch off the plate, and he goes out and reaches it or something like that, it's one thing. But that's all Mike Piazza's trying to do, is extend his arms. I'll tell you one thing. I was impressed with Luther Hackman, and after the double tied the score, he did not collapse and let Ventura give them a lead. He went right after him and got the strikeout.
Hackman shaking his head. It's a brand new game once again. It's 6-6. Here's Albert Pujols, who has doubled and scored here tonight. His hit streak is at 11 games. Polanco has extended his hitting streak as well. Edmonds has had a big night at the plate with a home run and 3 RBIs. But he could not come up with the fly ball off the bat of Mike Piazza, and we're tied 6-6 here in the 8th. Big swing and a miss by Albert. Was pretty much dialed back in. He's hit into a double play, but lined hard to the third baseman Ventura, who doubled off Polanco at second. That was back in the first. Struck out in the fourth and doubled and scored in the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Pujols, who is playing first base. Mark McGuire's on the bench again tonight. 1-2. Edmonds is on deck. And then Paquette.
Albert Pujols is a little bit of a young version of, say, a Mike Piazza, because he also likes to get those arms extended when he hit the ball where it's pitched.
Extends him that time and past Ventura, who may have gotten a piece on it, but that was a bullet off the bat of Pujols, and he is on. So the leadoff man is aboard. That's Albert Pujols. That was a rocket off his bat. Ventura couldn't come up with it, and it's a base hit and 2 hits on the night for Albert.
See Ventura looked like one little false step towards the line, and that kept him from getting the glove another half foot to his left and make that play. You know, this infield, who a couple years ago was as good as anybody in the National League. And there's Charlie Huff, the old knuckleballer. He and Bobby Valentine go all the way back to the early days of the Dodgers, the minor leagues. And it looks like he's going to go bring in the old veteran, John Franco.
Well, Franco tried to pitch yesterday and come into the 8th of their game with Milwaukee, but he has a sore elbow, but he feels all right tonight. He's going to pitch. He's the captain of this Mets club. Wears the C on his chest. And he's been around for a long, long time. He'll see Jim Edmonds when we come back. Well, Albert Pujols, a leadoff base hit here in the top of the 8th. He stands at first with nobody out. And Jim Edmonds will come to the plate. The Mets have brought in John Franco, the left-hander, to face Edmonds. Well, tomorrow on Baseball Saturday on FX, Juan Gonzalez takes on his old team when he leads the Indians against Alex Rodriguez and the Rangers. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7:30 on FX, so watch the entire baseball season unfold across the Fox networks. Here's John Franco. This will be his 48th appearance on the season. He moved into a 7th place tie on the all-time games pitch list with appearance 987 back on August 7th. That was against Milwaukee. They just left town. And he's tied with Lindy McDaniel, who pitched for the Cards, Cubs, Giants, Yankees, and Royals from 1955 to 1975. And as far as relievers are concerned, Al, you're talking about one of the all-time greats, second on the all-time save list coming into this season with 420. He's won 2 Rolaids relief man titles and 6 on the all-time relief appearances list.
He's been around a long time, but he's really better at retiring right-handed batters.
Edmonds trying to move the runner up, and he will do that. Pujols to second. As Jim laid down the bunt, he is homered and singled tonight. and has 3 RBIs, and Albert will stand at second with 1 out and give Paquette a chance to drive him in.
It's one of the things I think right now everybody kind of checks their egos at the door, and you do all the little things you can to win ball games. You have to bunt to get a guy in scoring position, and you can see that average for Paquette when runners are in scoring position or when they're on, and it's even better, 352 when they're in scoring position. And what he's going to have to get, he swings a lot of first pitches, and that dead fish away.
Fastball misses outside from the left-hander Franco.
Franco is held left-handed batters to 234, right-handers are 265. But a lot of times they'll go after and he'll pitch away to the right-handers and kind of turns the ball over to him, and sometimes that's right to the strength of Paquette.
Swing and a miss. 1-1. Got him to chase that one. A little tailing action to Paquette. 1 ball, 1 strike. Craig 0 for 3 tonight with a pair of strikeouts.
That last pitch, when Franco keeps that ball down, that's where he's got the bulk of his 422 saves, in that one right there.
He is set with Pujols at second and just 1 out. Pulled the string there, 1-2.
Craig's helping him a little bit, going after pitches that are out of the strike zone. Craig's very good at going and getting pitches outside, but he's got to make sure they're strikes, and those weren't.
Renteria is homered here tonight. He is on deck. A 6-6 game here in Gotham. 2-2. Plenty of room to the left side. Ventura is very close to the line. Ordonez is near second. So if Paquette can pull one, that could be a base hit.
Well, but that's the problem, is everything is away to these right-handed batters. Turn it over and get some sinking action.
Franco is set, and here comes a 2-2. And a full count.
And that was trying to come inside there, but John also knows that he's been around a long time, doesn't like to give up home runs, and so he's going to kind of accentuate inside and make sure they doesn't leave that something middle half in.
Big pitch in this game right here, a full count on Paquette. Pujols at second, just 1 out. And he walked him.
Good at bat.
Yes, it was. Paquette draws the walk, and it's first and second. 1 out, and here comes Renteria.
You see that Craig really had to watch the plate, as everything is a little bit of this, a little bit of that, taking pitches off and taking speed off it and trying to get him to expand his zone. You know, it's one of the things that Franco, because he doesn't throw exceptionally hard, has always gotten a lot of hitters to get themselves out by hitting a ball that's not a strike onto the ground and letting his defense field it for him.
Renteria, big night, 2 for 3 with a double and a home run. That's in the dirt. Well, Edgar gave the Cardinals a lead. This was back in the 6th inning. After Edmonds had hit a 2-run shot to tie it up, here comes a solo shot for the Cardinals shortstop, and his 9th home run on the year, and that made it 6-5. The Mets came back to tie it up 6-6, and that's where we stand right now. First and second, 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes on the Cardinals shortstop. That's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Al, I mentioned Franco's been nursing that sore elbow, did not pitch yesterday, but in there tonight.
See that pitch right off the plate, but he lives out there so much that, and you see the tailing action where it turns it over a little bit, kind of screwball running away, and he'll get a couple inches off the plate.
First and second, 1 out, and the 1-1 pitch.
Fastball about 88, and he throws the screwball at anywhere from 80, 82. Cut a fastball in on him.
3 for 9 against this left-hander is Renteria. He's ahead in the count with 2 balls and a strike. Line drive down the left field line, but hooking foul. 2-2.
Turn that ball over, but that's what happens is that was in the middle of the plate down, and you're out in front a little bit, and it's very hard to keep from not pulling it. Let's see where the location, and see how it's got that little arc to it, so you're out in front, and when you hit it good, you pull it.
John Franco, a New York native from Brooklyn. He's been with the Mets since 1990.
Ice water in his veins.
Two balls, two strikes, first and second. We'll do it again. Franco is a four-time National League All-Star. First on the Mets all-time list for games pitched. Came in with 547.
Remember one of the interesting trades, a left-handed reliever for a left-handed reliever, a screwball pitcher for a hard thrower. Randy Myers for John Franco.
Yep. Kip Gross was also in that deal.
Look at where he came from the Dodgers to Cincinnati.
Line drive left field, and it's caught.
Pujols doesn't know there's one out.
McEwing saves a run. Pujols doubled off a second. The game remains tied. Well, Albert Pujols was at second, and on this line drive he gets doubled up. Let's see what happened here.
Well, Danny, what he's thinking right now is he sees it out there, he sees a sinking liner. He just puts his head down and he's determined that he's going to score. It's almost like I've got to cheat a little bit because I don't have that good blazing speed. And once the line drive was caught, he was dead.
Good play by Joe McEwing in left, the former Redbird, and Pujols doubled up at second. Jose Oquendo is a third base coach, and he was signaling, make sure you get back, pick me up.
Well, see what I'm saying, you know, Oquendo doesn't have any chance. He's not even involved in the decision making because he put his head down. He was determined that that was going to be a base hit. I'm going to score on it. I'm going to be the hero. And you know, it's a tough call. You know, if he sits there and he traps the ball or he does anything, he does score on it. But now that it was caught, you know, you sit there and you say you run into the third out.
Here's Dave Veers, appearing for the 53rd time this season. Suffered a tough outing his last time out when he came into the ninth of that game in Montreal, the middle game of the three-game set, and the Cardinals had a two-run lead, and he gave up the home run to Blum. That tied the game back up in the bottom of the ninth, and then the Cardinals eventually lost it in the 11th inning as he was trying to hold on for Andy Bennis's 150th Major League victory, and it wasn't meant to be. So now Dave Veers in a key spot here. It's a 6-6 game. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and Todd Zeile will lead things off. It'll be Zeile, Shinjo, and Ordonez. Veers is the fourth pitcher used by Tony La Russa tonight. And the first pitch is a strike.
You know, Dan, I try not to talk to players unless they ask me for some advice or help. But yesterday I told Dave, I said, smile. And he kind of looked at me. I said, smile. You know, you cannot show your frustration to your teammates. And then he started opening up to me. He started saying, well, you know, I've had seasons or something, but I'm going in such a bad streak. You ever do that? I said, of course. Everybody's ever played the game has gone through a bad streak. But it's how you approach it on a day-to-day basis, and you've got to keep the same demeanor with your teammates, whether going good, going poorly, and you've got to, whether sit in that locker or do something like that, and before you leave, you think of positive thoughts for your next outing.
2-1 pitch is fouled away off the bat of Zeile. Todd tonight is struck out, grounded out, and walked.
I tell you, as a pitcher is going, you know, struggling, the only thing you ask is to have the confidence of your manager to put you back out in a big game. And that's sometimes tough to do from the manager because he wants to give you a break.
I was about to say that one of the things, and it doesn't matter if you're talking about Dave Veers or Mark McGuire or other people on this team, Tony La Russa will go to bat for his players in the media, publicly, and he will not berate anybody or embarrass anybody. Little looper, Vigna makes the play, diving, and what a play it was.
See, that's the difference. That's where Dave Veers can start sitting there. Probably, I'm sure, as I was watching Vigna, but I'm sure if we looked at Dave Veers, as soon as that little ball gets muscled out, he probably lets his head drop and thinks, oh no, here we go again. But then when it's caught, then you say, hey, my fortunes have changed. Now all of a sudden, you know, I've got the good vibes on my side. And catches it, and then a little free fall.
Not quite as good as that catch at Wrigley.
No, that was
a little emphasis on the dive, but we'll take it.
You got to get your uniform dirty.
Absolutely. Here's Shinjo, was doubled, walked and grounded out. Ordonez is on deck. Nobody on, and it's 2-0. Mets have left 5 on the night. They picked up 4 in the first, 1 in the second, led it 5-0, then trailed 6-5 in the 7th inning. Then tied it back up. There's a strike, 2-1.
And you just brought up something that, you know, whether people appreciate it or not, Tony does not ever berate a player in the press.
Never.
Sometimes he even goes to the extreme of saying something, we go, can't even believe that, can he?
Hit to short. This is Renteria. Takes his time and guns out Shinjo.
But who does he have a responsibility to?
To his players.
To his players, or to you know, somebody sitting at home saying, you know, who wants him to fire on somebody? No. He's trying to use a little psychology to get his team motivated, get them going back in the right direction. And that's where it should be.
Believe me, these players, I'd say most of them respect the fact that he does that.
Sure they do.
I was talking with Darryl Cowell the other day, and he was saying, can't believe that at times Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa don't get the respect that he thinks that they deserve from the fans. He says these two guys have been as good as anybody he's ever played for. That line drive caught by Edmonds, and Veers has a 1-2-3 inning. That's good to see. Head to the 9th, and it's 6-6. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Budweiser, who salutes America's designated drivers. We all make a difference. Budweiser. New pitcher in for the Mets, the 4th that they have used here tonight. Hard throwing Armando Benitez, their closer. We're in the top of the 9th, and it's a 6-6 game here at Shea.
Got 27 saves and 29 opportunities, but here he finds himself in a tie game here in the 9th. 6-6, so probably only this one shot the Cardinals will have at Benitez.
Has an ERA just over 2.15. There was some concern that he's just blown a couple of saves here recently after 20+ straight to start the year. This is his 50th appearance. But that fastball, and they've been clocking him and watching him closely, is still up there in the 97, 98 mile an hour range. 2-0 on Eli Marrero.
Well, right-handed batters only batting 176 off him. Left-handers 263.
Eli is 1 for 3. Grounded to short. Singled, stole a base, and scored a run. That was back in the 5th, and grounded to 3rd.
Danny, I'm not sure about the first pitch, but the last two have been 91, so that's well off the velocity that he normally throws.
Talking with the Mets folks, said he's just not throwing quite as hard as he once was at the beginning of this season.
Well, and sometimes you know your velocity's down a little bit, you choke it, and you try to throw harder, and that's when it slows down and obviously becomes more straight.
There's nobody on deck just yet, and Eli fouls it back and out of play, full count. Pitcher spot is due up for the Redbirds, and then Vigna after Eli, and we'll see what he does here on this full count pitch.
C.J. Matthews is warming up in the Cardinals bullpen.
Houston has won. Chicago has won. The Cardinals trying to keep pace in the Central.
Dave Veers is about to step out on the on-deck circle. But that could be just purely a deke. Most of the time, that umpire will make sure there is a batter there.
We've yet to see McGuire. We haven't seen Bonilla. Drew's availability is not there because of a sore back, and Stubby Clapp is pinch hit here tonight. Mike Matheny, another one that we could see a possibility. That's popped up. Get out of play. And it will. Bat just looks much quicker, doesn't it, Eli?
I was talking to Mike Lowell, his high school teammate back in Florida, who Lowell had testicular cancer. Another member of that high school team had testicular cancer, and then Eli had the thyroid cancer. And he just says, you know, it takes a while.
Good at bat there. He draws the walk. So good speed at first for the Cardinals.
And let me also tell you what most important about that walk is, and particularly with Marrero, is you got a great opportunity to steal second.
Yeah.
Benitez, like a lot of closers, are very, very slow to the plate. And that's why the trend where they only bring these guys in to start an inning, because they know base runners could run around the merry-go-round on them.
Kevin Appier started the game for the Mets. He went 6 innings and gave up 6 runs, and he had a lead of 5-0. Couldn't hold it. Then Riggin took over, pitched an inning, Franco an inning, and now Benitez here in the 9th. Eli has a stolen base here tonight, his 4th on the year. Last sack bunt came in 1995, in September of '95 for Dave Veers.
Well, he's been practicing. And this guy is not the easiest if he elevates the ball.
Pulls back and looks at a strike.
He's well off the plate, but that's been consistent to the strike zone of Mark Barron tonight. The Oquendo's now talked to Veers now. Sometimes the relief pitchers are not often reminded about the signs because they so infrequently come to the plate. Ventura is charging, third baseman.
Herrera at first, nobody out, and another check. 6-6 here in the 9th.
2 objectives for a pitcher to throw to first base is to take the spring out of the legs of a base runner, and also for the bench or everyone to detect, is the bunt still on.
0-2.
It's a tough assignment for a guy that has not bunted in 5 years, and stabbing at it and really never got the bat fully in fair territory. But I think it also is an indication of the depleted bench because of injury, and also the fact that Tony La Russa wants Dave Veers to stay in this game, that he wants to build a little confidence in him.
That, I think, being the point that needs to be made and why he's in this situation. He gets it down, and boy, it's a beauty. Good job by Veers.
Not easy, but boy, that could come back to be huge. Veers has been there before, but sometimes you need a refresher course. See the barrel high, the third baseman's charging, so got the angle, and that ball up is not easy to stay on top of, and he hits it on the grass and it just stays right there. But he had the bat angle to where he would hit it to the first baseman, and the only play for Todd Zeile was to first. Marrero's out in scoring position.
Here's Vigneault who has an RBI tonight. He was part of our open tonight in which we talked about some of the Cardinal hot hitters, and this certainly is one of them. He has a base hit as well. Slaps that foul.
Not only hot hitting, but we've seen some timely hitting of late.
Right.
And that's what we were stressing. And the club was keeping their average pretty much up there, but in key situations, game-winning situations, or areas where you could get one hit could get you a couple runs. And we're not picking those up. And here's one of those situations right now. Could be a game winner.
So many times we'd say you want to see that RBI guy up there, but Vigna is a guy that you're talking about with that timely hitting that can do it here.
Well, you know, the biggest thing is when you have a bunch of guys that strike out so much, and you have Vigna and Polanco, two of the best and toughest to strike out on the team. They put the ball in play. And to do that, good things can happen.
1 ball, 1 strike on Vigna.
Crowd did not like the call, but according to pitch tracks, it was outside.
6-6 here in the ninth. Marrero at second. Hard throwing Armando Benitez trying to get out of this inning. Time is called. Plenty of room if Vigna wants to shoot one the other way. Third baseman Ventura is even with the bag and close on the grass, and there's that pitch tracks that you were talking about, Al. That was outside.
Half the crowd just sees, well, it's letter high and it's supposed to be called a strike, but it was well off the plate.
Next to Vigna. Outside again, 2-1.
And crowd not liking it, but it's outside.
Polanco on deck. He is 3 for 4 and hit the ball hard all 4 times.
Strikes again, you'll see it. 93, but off the plate, outside. Vigna not going after it.
Benitez and Vigna here. The 2-1. 3-1. Nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen.
He's their closer, and probably is only out there for this 1 inning, but the one thing that could be beneficial, or at least tonight and maybe tomorrow, is he's
high pitch count,
throwing a lot of pitches.
3 balls and a strike on Vigna. Line drive hit into left, and it's caught. McEwing makes the play, and Eli back to second. Boy, Vigna,
The third baseman, number 27.
really
Placido
smoked
Polanco.
that the opposite way, but McEwing had him played correctly, and there's 2 outs.
Well, you know, he's a guy that can go to the opposite field. He's getting a count where he's probably thinking he's going to get a fastball, and he got one. It was a little bit close to the strike zone. But when somebody hits this ball here, even if it was off the plate, you've got to say he had a good idea. He hit the ball hard. It's just unfortunate. Got underneath it slightly, and they make the play. But you never fault that guy or criticize that guy for swinging at that pitch.
Here's Polanco, 3 for 4 tonight. The hottest man in the Cardinals lineup. Fights this one off, but Shinjo is there. Boy, that came up on him, and he makes the play. And the Cardinals leave a man. Polanco's 3 for 5. The Cardinals have left 3 on the night. To the bottom of the ninth we go. 6-6, bottom of the ninth here at Shea Stadium. Dave Veers back to work for his 2nd inning of work. We want to remind you, coming up after the game, the Midwest Sports Report for extended regional highlights and in-depth interviews. Coming up on tonight's edition with Rob King and Rob Nicoleski. The Rams break camp. John Hadley sounds off, and on the Fox Focus, it's Kirk Palmer, Missouri quarterback. 6-6 game here in the bottom of the ninth. Lenny Harris, an outstanding pinch hitter, will pinch hit, and then Joe McEwing and Alfonso.
Lenny has 16 pinch hits to lead the major leagues this year. He is the all-time, or he's the active leader, and now 2nd on the all-time list. He has 146 pinch hits, first among active players, and it's just a matter of time before he tracks down Manny Mota, who's first with 150. This is his specialty, and he's been doing it a long time.
Well, Veers was able to get out of the 8th and try to do so here in the 9th. The first pitch is a ball. We'll see our 2nd extra inning game on this road trip if Veers can get this game to the 10th. The Cardinals have won the opening game in each of their past 4 series. Did it Tuesday night in Montreal for only the 3rd time all season long on the road.
Yeah, so that's the problem. On the road, we have been losing the first game, and then you're playing catch-up. Still 9 games under 500 on the road, and that's where we've got to improve on.
2-1. Lenny Harris came up with Cincinnati back in 1988. He has been doing this a long, long time. Cincinnati, he's had 2 stints with them. Spent time with the LA Dodgers, Arizona, Colorado, and now the Mets.
Very valuable man to have off the bench, because one of the toughest jobs in all of baseball. You get one shot at it, and most of the time you got to give yourself a good chance.
Hits it sharply to short. Renteria stays down and makes the play.
Good start for Dave Veers here in
Left fielder,
Mets
number
ninth. He's
47,
retired all 4 men he's faced.
Zeal, Shinjo, Ordonez, now Harris. And in steps Joe McEwing. He's had a nice night. Couple of good plays in the outfield. Saved a run on a sliding catch. Double off Pujols at second. Part of a double play. He has doubled and scored, singled and scored, flied to left and flied to center. 2 for 4 on the night, batting in the leadoff spot for Bobby Valentine's New York Mets. There's a strike from Dave Veers. Late inning pressure situations. Joe McEwing, 14 for 45, average over 300. How about that? 4 home runs.
4 home runs. I think he got the game winner yesterday.
He did. He had a pair of RBIs as well. 1-1.
A pressure situation usually described from 7th inning on.
Dustin Hermanson and Glendon Rush tomorrow afternoon, and then Darryl Kyle, Bruce Chen on Sunday. 1-1 pitch from Veers. Down the right field line, slicing. That's a fair ball.
Boy, what a great play by Paquette to hold him to just a single.
How did that stay fair?
Well, it landed right on the line, and Paquette has already seen his form Super Joe, who they were traded for each other, right? No, there's Roscoe, but there again, he's a lot like Polanco in the fact the inside out swing, and you saw Paquette had a great running start on it, and you know running is always going to be the strength of McEwing. He's never going to be accused of lack of hustle. So for him to hold to a single, that was an exceptional play by Paquette.
Nice bare hand on that play, especially with the wet track out there, trying to get your traction.
He had a great jump on it, and that's why he's still at first base.
He's at first, represents the winning run. 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th in a 6-6 game, and this is Alfonso, who has a single, an RBI, and a run scored. He's walked, fly to center, and struck out. Hitting under 230. Lawton is on deck. 1-0. Philadelphia over Los Angeles 10-5. San Diego beat Pittsburgh 3-2. Milwaukee over Montreal 5-1. Houston and Chicago both winners. So the Cardinals just trying to keep pace with those two. 1-0 pitch by Veers. 2-0. Will the double play be nice here?
Double play and then get back on offense, get a lead, and steal the first game of this series.
And that's what it would be, down 5-0 at one point.
Absolutely. Down 5-0, bat all the way back, take a 6-5 lead, and then to give up a run, but still battling here in the bottom of the 9th.
2-0 pitch. A strike on the outside corner. Mets jumped out to that 5-0 lead with 4 runs in the first. Piazza, a 3-run home run. That was off of Woody Williams. Another one in the second. And the Cardinals had 3 consecutive innings in which they scored. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th, they had 1, 2, and 3 runs respectively. Then in the 7th, the Mets were able to tie it up off of Luther Hackman. A ball that went off the glove of Jim Edmonds in center. That's where we stand. It's 6-6. Beers is set. The 2-1 pitch is coming. Ground ball hit to short. Renteria, Vina. Extra innings, we're going to him. Nice pick by Pujols at first. And another outstanding turn by Fernando Vina. Good work by Veers. 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. 6-6 as we head to the 10th. Our next televised game will be Sunday afternoon at noon on WB11. Cardinal baseball with Game 3 of this 3-game series between the Redbirds and the New York Mets. WB11 Sunday at noon. Tomorrow's game will be televised. Fox National has that telecast. Joe Buck will have the call. A couple late nights now for the Cardinals. Last night getting in around 4:15, 4:30 to the hotel here in New York, and then going into extra innings here tonight. New pitcher in, a right-hander in, Rick White.
Rick White got a rare save, his second of the season in yesterday's ball game, appearing for the 37th time. 49 innings, almost a hit per inning. Not a lot of walks, but he's not really a strikeout pitcher either. He's allowed 3 home runs. I remember one last year that Jim Edmonds hit off him.
Yep.
Dave Beers, second inning of work, and boy, that double play ball was huge and puts us in the chance right here in the top of the 10th to get a lead.
Kerry Robinson will lead it off for the Redbirds. It'll be Kerry, then Albert Pujols, and Jim Edmonds. We've yet to see Mark McGwire in this game, so if it gets to that point where you need a pinch hitter, he could do it. Mike Matheny, another possibility as well. Robinson tonight has walked. He's popped out and grounded out a couple of times after a 4-hit performance and a career high last night. Looks at a fastball from White. White is the 5th pitcher used by the Mets here today. Napier, Riggin, Franco, Benitez, and now Rick White. He was picked up from Tampa Bay last season. That hits Robinson.
Maybe that's what we need. Hopefully it's not too painful for Kerry as Barry Weinberg and Tony go out to assist their youngster. Where did he get him?
I think on the left.
On the knee.
Inside
First baseman number 5, Albert Pujols.
Yeah, look at the knee, and he sits there and tries to get out of the way of it. He's had fluid on the knee and had to have it drained a couple times. I'm not sure if it is the left one, which was struck by the pitch. But seems to be moving okay, but one of the other things is, 1, you want him to be okay, and 2, you want him to be able to stay in the game and steal a base or do whatever you need to do. But
telling you what, knowing him, it would take a broken leg probably to get him out of this game. I mean, he's not going to come out much. Some fans of Tony La Russa here at Shea Stadium.
He's got them all over, doesn't he? He's showing bunt, and the ball just follows him inside, and the left leg.
And it must have hit him smack there, Al, because that sounded like a foul ball almost.
Yeah, right. It was right above the knee. You know, sometimes there's a little muscle right up there, but hopefully it wasn't the kneecap.
He is at first. Here's Albert Pujols. He's off and running, and the pitch is fouled away.
That's a good sign. Now, Albert Pujols, the last 2 days, has gotten game-winning hits for the Cardinals. He leads the club in that department. You make it a trifecta. Gary is running, and Albert fouls this ball off.
Pujols had a pair of doubles last night and his 16th game-winning RBI. Hitting streak is now at 11 games. A check on Carey. He's back safely. Albert hit into a double play, struck out. His last 2 at-bats he's gotten on. Doubled and scored in the 6th on the Edmonds home run and singled in the 8th. But then was doubled off. The 0-1 pitch is fouled back.
Boy, White did the perfect thing. He was in his stretch. He's looking over at the base runner, Kerry Robinson, and Kerry, kind of after a while, stood straight up, and that's when he delivered the pitch home. Because he knew that he had no momentum going towards second base. You hold the ball, you try and take the, as I say, the spring out of a base runner, but Kerry kind of got out there and didn't feel comfortable, so he shortened up his lead, stood straight up, and that's when he came home with the pitch.
Edmonds is on deck. The 0-2 from White to Pujols. Hit to the right side. That's a base hit. Robinson around second. He'll trot into third. Good piece of hitting by Albert Pujols on an 0-2 pitch. And it's first and third. Nobody out here in the 10th. And here comes Jim Edmonds.
Well, that's why he is such a good hitter, because he doesn't try to do too much. Here, he played little man ball. And just a perfect inside-out swing. Second baseman's up towards the second base bag, so there's a lot of hitting room on the right side. Zeal's holding the runner on, and of course now Kerry can make that decision, and he comes flying home. Kendo was trying to tell him, you can stand up, but you know what? That's safer. You go in there. If you're not sure, just go ahead. I'd rather see its feet first, but go in there, slide.
Here's Edmonds. Infield comes running in, and the first pitch is a ball from Rick White.
Tony has employed these middle infielders. You see how the pitch is being made. They come charging in. I think a good hitter who really concentrates on the release point doesn't even see those guys.
6-6 here in the 10th, first and third, nobody out. The 1-0 pitch, make it 2-0. Paquette on deck.
Rick White last year had a few things to say disparagingly about Jim Edmonds after he hit a home run. And I guess Rick White had never seen Jimmy's pedigree.
There you see the numbers for Edmonds against this right-hander, 2 for 3. There's a strike. Two and one. First and third, nobody out. The 2-1 coming to Edmonds. And around. 2-2.
Well, he missed the one he should have swung at and couldn't hold his swing on breaking ball that was been very tough to do anything with. And now Tony La Russa's called time to say something to Oquendo. And then relay it to Kerry Robinson. You don't often see that.
Not at all.
Manager walk out onto the field. And I'm sure Tony was very upset that he couldn't more than likely get the attention of Oquendo. Kind of hard to see Oquendo to see Tony with everyone standing up on the front steps.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Edmonds. First and third. Tie game here in the 10th. Struck him out looking.
The right fielder, number 21.
Hitting the count in his favor, and then he took a fastball in the middle. Then he went after a breaking ball. Here he let strike 3 come across. He thought it was inside, but you can see on pitch tracks it caught part of the plate.
And here comes pitching coach Charlie Huff.
You see that though. You had Piazza set up away,
Yeah, he
and the
missed a
ball
spot.
came back in the middle of the plate, or really towards the inside part. Sometimes a pitcher doesn't get that call just because the catcher looks awkward catching it.
Now it sets up the double play.
You know what they may be doing here is they're giving Rick White part of the option. What do you want to do? You've got a base open. You know, would you rather pitch to Paquette? Or do you want to go after Renteria? Most of the time, pitchers say, I'll go after the hitter here, but I'll try and I know I've got the leeway that I do not have to give in to him because I got a base open. It just happens to be second base.
First and third now with one out. Here's Paquette, who's hitting .267. Albert Pujols at first. Kerry Robinson at third. Paquette tonight is struck out, grounded out, struck out again. That was in his last at bat, and walked. He has been clutch this year. Here we go. Shinjo. Robinson. He tags. The throw to the plate, not in time. And the Cardinals take the lead on the RBI by Paquette. He does the job. It's 7-6 Redbirds here in the 10th.
Craig Paquette has been pretty good at doing these things. You
Shortstop
documented
number
how
3,
well he
Edgar
hits with
Renteria.
runners in scoring position. And all you need is that sacrifice fly. You picked up a teammate, Jim Edmonds, who has failed several times, a couple times in this trip, with not getting a sacrifice fly or getting that runner in from third with less than 2 outs. But a ball up means a sacrifice fly. You know, not a very good pitch in that situation when you can get him to swing in a lot of pitches off the plate and with that great running speed. Another kind of interesting thing is Pujols, runner at first base, he made Zeal forget about the runner and try to get the out at second, but there's nobody backing him up, so he could get the cutoff throw and then get back to first without a play.
Steve Klein is warming up in the Cardinal bullpen. Here's Renteria. Now with 2 outs, Pujols at first, and the Cardinals have a 1-run lead. Lawton is due up first in the bottom of the 10th. Let's go back to the sacrifice fly from the bat of Paquette.
See, now the winning run is at third base. So you're coming in, but Zeal's going, well, I know he's going to score, but I got a play right in front of me. So he cuts it off, forgets about the play at the plate, throws the ball to second baseman, but there's nobody at first. So, you know, Pujols just runs back to first base, and the run is guaranteed to score.
Ball and 2 strikes on Edgar Renteria. Boy, if the Cardinals can hold on, how many times we said this on this current road trip. Down at 1 point, 5-0, and now leading 7-6 here in the 10th.
Doesn't it set the stage for the weekend, too?
Yes, it does. Sticks the bat out, but Zeal will take it himself. So, Frank Paquette, fantastic job. Gets the sac fly. Robinson, after he was hit by a pitch, moved up to third after the Pujols base hit. Paquette brought him in. It's 7-6 Redbirds. Bottom of the 10th, Craig Paquette with the RBI, his 41st on the year. And he drives in that man, Kerry Robinson, to make it 7-6 in the 10th here at Shea. Robinson, the great speed, moved up from first after he was hit by a pitch on a base hit by Pujols on an 0-2 pitch to Albert. 3-hit night, by the way, for Albert. His great speed on that base hit into right got him to third, and Paquette brought him in. Here is Steve Klein, his 66th game he is appearing in here tonight, and this is a big one. Of course, look at the ERA, 1.82, and opponents hitting just 187, and he will face the heart of the order for the Mets. Piazza will hit in this inning. He'll hit second. It'll be Lawton, Piazza, and then Robin Ventura. The Cardinals, if you're just joining us, trailed at 1 point, 5-0. Scratched and clawed their way back into this game. Edmonds has had a nice night at the plate with a home run and a 2-run shot and just a bomb down the right field line. Renteria has homered. Polanco has had 3 hits to extend his hit streak. Pujols a 3-hit night.
Danny, and it's been a couple hit batsmen that one tied it when Lawton was hit. And eventually came around to score, and then Gary Robinson was hit and eventually has given the Cardinals their 7th run. So the 6th and 7th runs have scored by hit batsmen.
Lawton wanted that ball to be checked for that pitch from Klein, so.
And then when the umpire checks it and gives it right back to the pitcher, you go, uh-oh.
Yeah. Polanco way in at third. He's on the grass. Ground ball, Vina to Pujols, 1 away. Prior to tonight's game, the Cardinals knew that Chicago had won. They beat San Francisco. Houston has won. They beat Florida 7-2. So the Cardinals trying to remain 7 games out in the National League Central and move to 4 games above the 500 mark, a place they haven't been in nearly a month.
There's some fun action going on as LA lost to Philadelphia and Arizona beat Atlanta. So race is tightening up all over the place.
There's Mike Piazza, who is homered. A 3-run shot of a Woody Williams. That was in the first. Klein, first pitch, is strike. Agbayani is moved to the on-deck circle for the New York Mets. We haven't seen him tonight. Piazza with 27 home runs on the year. Polanco guarding the line at third. Outfield deep. Next pitch. 1-1 on a ball that misses low and away. .10:41 the time here in New York as we play here in the 10th. 2 balls and a strike.
Definitely keeping the ball away from him, but keeping the ball away out of the strike zone. Might have to come inside with a slider.
He does. Fly ball, left field, hooking, foul.
See, that's what you do if you're a veteran. You come in there and you get it in far enough that when they open up, they pull it foul. The crowd gets a charge out of it, but you scare your manager and pitching coach, but as a pitcher, you go, hey, I got strike number 2. See, it's going to be off the plate. He's out there trying to get to it. He opens up too soon. Back inside.
Down the right field line this time and fouled away again. 2-2.
He was set up inside and the ball missed. It was out away from him and in the strike zone. Watch where Marrero sets up. That's where I said they're going to come back inside, because I was watching where Marrero set up and he totally misses his spot. Look where his glove is. He wants the ball, you know, down in the dirt, wants him to chase, and it was up out over the plate.
The 2-2. Piazza fouls it out of play. This crowd has come alive with Mike Piazza at the dish. Klein looks in, gets his sign from Eli Marrero.
He doesn't chase that often, but breaking ball or off speed away, and he's just totally missing. They want that ball down too. That's what it's all about. You see, it's like an octopus.
Three balls, 2 strikes, a full count on Mike Piazza, who was already homered here tonight. And he also had the game-tying double. Ooh, just missed. Wow. Wow.
It was outside. Good shot. He tried to throw that fastball, and he missed outside.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And out there, couldn't get him to chase.
pitch hitting for the Mets.
So,
Number 50,
pretty good little battle right there. And off the plate, and a good call from the umpire.
That'll bring in Benny Agbayani. A lot of talk here in New York as to whether or not he would even be in a Mets uniform at this point in the season. So Piazza will be pinch run for here. Desi Relaford,
Pinch running for the Mets.
former
number 8,
Philadelphia
Desi
Philly,
Relaford.
will run for Piazza. He's at first. He has good speed. Agbayani will pinch hit. Seven-six Redbirds. About one more double play.
Agbayani, I think, somewhat of a cult hero here. And for a big guy, bat leadoff a lot of the time. A guy that runs pretty well, but
Ground ball. Renteria takes it himself. Cardinals win the first game of this three-game set. The double play, and Klein gets it. And the Cardinals storm onto the field from the dugout. Robinson scores the game-winning run. Paquette the game-winning RBI. And the Cardinals win it 7-6. Folks, our play of the game is brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Robinson leading off the 10th inning. Hit by that pitch. He would be at first. Pujols would single to the right side on an 0-2 pitch. He would wind up at third, and Paquette would drive him in.
well, Danny, you see this a lot of fight left in this ball club, and you could tell that after the first four batters for the Mets gave them a 4-0 lead, but they never looked down. They never hung their daubers. They came back in all facets of the game, hitting, pitching, and defense, and they steal a victory.
Great work by Veers out of the bullpen. 2 scoreless innings. Klein, great job in the final frame. 7-6. What a nice win. The Sports Report comes your way now.